Uh, okay, thank you very much. I see that we are now recording live. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening for our April 2023 General Board meeting. My name is Fred Baptiste. I currently serve as the proud chair of Brooklyn Community Board 9, and I welcome everyone this evening to our General Board meeting. And this evening, I think, is particularly special in the sense that we are now constituted as a new board. So Borough Hall has made recent appointments to the board. So we have some new members. So very quickly, I just want to give some names, and to all our new board members, first of all, welcome. Two, I apologize in advance if I start butchering names, but we're gonna have a whole year. You will have an opportunity to correct me. And Madam Secretary will definitely make sure she learns your names as well as we take it for attendance. But it's my pleasure to introduce to our community new board members. And if I miss anyone at the end, please let me know. Max Cohen, we have Eve Cohen, we have Mr. Rod Herbert, we have Jean-Rene Mabeng Nguema, we have Ethan Norville, we have Benjamin Rothenberger, we have Doyen Saab, we have Yisrael Lehrer, we have Alethea Best, Candace Edwards, Yosef Hirschkoff, Natoya McGee, John Wolfling, Janelle Basil Charles, Zlati Mushkin, Maria Acosta, Paul Pascal, Omari Scott, Twyla Ware, Shmuel, you'll have to correct me, Shmuel Zafatman, and Ronisha Labari. Is there anyone I missed? Please let me know right now so we can definitely make sure we introduce you to the community. Anybody who I missed? Okay, I think we're good for now. Again, my apologies in advance if I mispronounce names, but we will definitely make the attempt to make sure we get those over the time that we're together. But again, I welcome you. It's definitely a comment on your commitment to the community and your service, and we look forward to working together as a board over the next year for 2023-24. The next item on our agenda will be is typically the reading of the rules of order. We are going to be waiving the reading of the rules. I just want to tell you the spirit of the rules of order is just that we want to make sure that in terms of our conduct here as a board, as a community, make sure that we're here in a spirit of respect. So we ask that everyone please make sure that the comments are to ideas and not personal attacks. We ask that we respect the speakers. Even in disagreement, we allow them that opportunity to say what they need to say. We ask for everyone to please make sure that you stay within the allotted timeframes as well. And again, remember, we can disagree without being disagreeable. And I think that's the key right there. And I think that in these conversations, in that disagreement, I think we'll be able to find solutions that really move us forward as a district. So we are, so those are the rules of order which we'll be waiving. But again, they are available on the CB9 website. Which will move us to our next item on the agenda, which would be applications for New York State liquor licenses. Do we have the chair of public safety with us at this time?
I am here.
Okay, so we have the chair of public safety, Mr. Primo Lasana, who at this time will introduce the applicant and discuss the application before the board.
You moved so quickly with your introductions that I basically need a second to grab it. So do your thing and Fred, razzle dazzle them with a little bit more welcome while I pull up the application.
Sure. Okay. So as we're waiting, well, actually, the applicant this evening is going to be Druid Incorporated. They are located at 252 Empire Boulevard on the corner of Rogers Avenue. So this evening, we are going to be hearing from them. This is an application for the renewal of a liquor license, of a liquor, wine, beer, and cider license, what we could consider as a full license here at the board and the State Liquor Authority. So as a renewal, this is an entity that is in the district currently, and we will be considering their application this evening in terms of if the board is in support of renewing their license so they can continue.
Way to show me up, Fred. Way to show me up at we have all these new members and yeah, I think you've set the stage pretty well. So I don't think that I have much to add on my front. So we'd love to hear from the business owner themselves about kind of, what they bring to the community, and if they could just kind of talk us through some of the major points on the application. that would be incredibly helpful, but the Public Safety Committee voted in unanimous support of bringing this to the larger board. We found the conversation to be very helpful and informative, and we are excited about the future of this business. So with that, I welcome any representative of Gruit to tell the larger community board a bit more.
Okay, hi, my name is Zalman Skoblo. I started Gruit about 4 years ago. We've gone through the whole COVID bit and we've survived and come out on the other side. We're basically a beer garden we kind of fused more to restaurant. So the liquor license is there because we built this beautiful bar. So we don't want to lose it. We want people to have the ability to come and enjoy it. Like I said, we are mostly a restaurant. As the summer comes along, we will focus a lot more on our beer garden. We have an outdoor space, which is a beautiful space where people can come and have a beer and relax after work. I mean, you know, we're just a small mom and pop restaurant at this point. So if anybody has any questions or concerns for us, I'm here available to answer any of your questions.
Thanks so much, Zalman. I just wanted to add a little bit more flavor to the application that I feel like folks usually have interest in. Hours of operation, just wanted to mention that their application is from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. On Mondays through Thursday. They're closed on Friday and Saturday, and then are 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Sundays as well. Received
Correct.
no complaints from NYPD or FDNY around noise at this particular location. There are 22 tables and 52 seats at Gruit. And I think that those are some of the most important things that folks usually want to know. There's also a menu attached to the application, which is in everybody's inbox who is a community board member, should you be interested in checking that out. That's all that I will add.
I mean, like I said, the only thing I can add is, you know, I could thank everybody for their time for serving on the community board. It goes a long way. It goes very much, the appreciation side is not mentioned enough. It's, you know, it's like you say, out of sight, out of mind. You don't think about it, you don't see it, but when you do see it, you do realize how much we do appreciate how much work goes into it, how much time and effort goes into it. And you know, as I speak to people, you know, and get to discuss it, you know, people are starting to realize more and more how important the community board is and how much time and effort all the members give to the community. And we do appreciate it. And we want everybody to know we appreciate it. And that's what I want to mention the most importantly. If anybody has any, like I said, if anybody has any questions or concerns for me, you can ask now or you can get a hold of me. Everybody has my number. I'm an easy person to reach. So,
and that's how Zalman got the unanimous support of the Public Safety Committee. I'm going to get out in front of one question, Zalman, that I suspect might be asked, which would be if you could speak a little bit about just kind of the ADA compliance of your restaurant. Is it easy to get into?
So we made our door wide enough for a wheelchair. We have a ramp to go in. We have an ADA bathroom. We also, for the yard door opens up to allow for a wheelchair to be rolled in if somebody wants to sit in the yard and not have to go through the entire restaurant. You know, I think we have it all covered. So if anybody, you know, we've served a lot of ADA customers, and we've never had a problem or a complaint. So if anybody does have any suggestions, we are open and willing to hear them and fix anything that we have missed, if we have missed anything.
Thank you very much, Zalman. That was comprehensive. I'll see if, yeah, like Zalman said, if anybody has any questions, and Fred, if it's okay, we can take 2 questions. Is that what you're going to say?
maybe, okay, 2.5. But the only thing I just wanted to say, this is a note, and I apologize that I didn't say this in advance, just in terms of some housekeeping. So at the board, in terms of being recognized, we ask that if you're on the Zoom platform, please use the raised hand function, because that'll enable the district office staff to see you and place you on a speakers list. So at that time, we can go through and make sure you're recognized. Now, if you're calling in, if you're attending by phone, if you use the *9 function, the *9 function is used to raise your hand, and that same function *9 is used to lower your hand as well. So if you need to be recognized, you can use that. At which time you'll hear prompts in terms of, if you're promoted into the panel, you'll receive prompts about unmuting yourself. So if you use that, you'll be able to speak and address the body as well. And with that, go ahead, Primo, I leave it to you. You can take the questions. Any questions that we see?
I'm personally not seeing any raised hands. So seems like Zalman has answered all questions. Fred, correct me if I'm wrong, but procedurally what we'll do is continue through the agenda, and then we will vote during the business session towards the end of the agenda. But I do see a hand from Teresa. Feel free to come off mute. There you are.
Yeah, I'm a neighbor. We live very close to this restaurant, and they've been really great neighbors. I noticed the new menu has more vegetarian items on it, and I appreciate that, because I dine frequently with vegetarians and they won't go if there's not a variety on there. So thank you for being in the neighborhood, and we appreciate you.
Thank you very much for that. And we are adding, we listen to our customers, and we did have a lot of requests for vegetarian options. So we have tried to comply to the best of our abilities, and thank you for noticing, and I appreciate that.
Great. Seeing no other hands raised. Oh, Milford has a hand raised. A physical hand raised. Milford, you are on mute.
That was recognized. I met this gentleman about 2 years ago when Groot first debuted. My name is Milford Pruitt, and I'm the editor of the Echo. And that was a leading story back in the day, and I can vouch that these guys are pretty good at what they do.
Thank you.
I didn't have Parkinson's disease back then, but I'm sure that they did everything that's right in terms of entering and exiting the facility. But they're a restaurant worth checking out, and it's a great date place too.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We look forward to seeing you again, and serving you well, and making, doing the right thing.
All right.
Thank you, Milford. Thank you, Teresa. Fred, that probably brings us to our 2.5. So I'll pass it back to you. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and to the
Thank
Public
you,
Safety
everybody,
Committee.
for their time.
Thank you.
So we will be considering the application during the business session of the meeting. So during that time, members of the board will consider the recommendation of the Public Safety Committee, and we will vote on whether to adopt the recommendation to approve. Okay, so we are now going to continue in our public session. We are now going to go to public commentary. Just as a matter of background, especially for the new members, per our bylaws, per our code rules of conduct, the community board has a public session, a public commentary session, where members of the public have the opportunity to come and address the board on any matters concerning any matters or issues in the community or in the district. So our public session is scheduled for exactly 30 minutes. Speakers are allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to address the board. Again, I think, and I just want to reiterate that the rules of order do apply for that commentary as well. Let's be respectful. Let's be cognizant of the time. Let's make sure we keep our microphones muted as well as we're speaking. Again, for housekeeping purposes, if you are being promoted from the attendees, if you are using a phone, *6 will be used to unmute yourself, listen for the prompts, and you'll hit it at that time, and you'll be able to address the board. Okay, Mr. District Manager, who do we have currently scheduled for public commentary.
We have Sue Peters, Julia Bryant, LaShawn Ellis, Luis Calheya, Arnold Gore, Nicola Cox, Teresa Westerdahl. Those are the folks who signed up in advance.
Okay. All right. At this time, are there any attendees who wish to speak before the board? Please use the raise hand function so we can add you to the speakers list.
Mr. Sword.
Okay.
I see Julie M.
Okay.
That's it for the attendees.
Okay. I
and
do
the
see.
board members, yeah.
Right. I do see two board members. I see Celeste Chase. And I do see Primo Lasana. All right. I would ask for the board members, if we are able, if we would please allow the residents to speak first. As when we go into the business session, we may be able to afford you an opportunity to speak. But we want to make sure that the residents are able to speak during the public commentary. Okay. All right. Does that complete the list?
Yes.
Okay. All right then. I would ask if you could, just for the essence of time, if you could promote all those people to the panel, and we'll take them in the order that we've listed. Again, a reminder, please make sure all microphones are muted while people are speaking before the board. Now, that's at the district office team. Please make sure you let everyone know when they hit 2 minutes and 30 seconds. At that point, please remember, in the interest of time, to start concluding your remarks. So that way you end promptly at 3 minutes and we're able to go to the next speaker.
Arnold Gore. I don't see an Arnold Gore. Or Luis. Or Sue Peters.
Okay. Well, who's the first speaker do you have? Oh, you don't see, okay.
That was Sue. So I don't see Sue, so the next was Julia Bryant.
Okay, let's promote Ms. Bryant and she can speak.
Hi, thank you. My name is Julia Bryant and I'm a member of the Parks and Recreation Committee, but I'm going to speak this evening regarding my concerns about the 5G towers. Before we allow any additional 5G towers in CB9, I suggest that we wait to hear the findings from Congressman Jerry Nadler's April 12, 2023 letter to the Federal Communication Commission requesting a review of the proposed installation of 5G sidewalk towers throughout New York City. To date, the FCC said that they will be reviewing. And my question to the executive board is, what's the rush? These towers are eyesores and they're dangerous, and they would be really dangerous should they get hit by a passing vehicle. In addition, the 5G Link New York kiosks are equipped with microphones, Bluetooth beacons, and outward-facing cameras. My question is, who are they watching? Why are they watching us? Link New York is not a community Wi-Fi. It's being marketed as that, but it's not. It's not Wi-Fi for free. Let's not passively let this dangerous device be installed in our community. Can the community board do some more research on this matter? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments, Ms. Bryant. Okay, Dante, who do we have next?
Okay, we're trying to promote LaShawn Ellis. Okay, so LaShawn should be coming in.
Hello?
Yes, okay.
Yep, we hear you.
Okay, great. Great. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so I also would like to speak to the 5G towers. I am speaking to the community board to vote on a resolution to place a moratorium on the Link 5G towers until the proper procedure is followed and the community is given a fair chance to voice their opinions and concerns. I first saw the Link 5G towers appear in our community around the end of August, beginning of September. On September 13th, I wrote an email to the Office of Technology Manager David Reed and CC Dante Arwin. Both communications were filled with useless vagaries. The federal court has struck down the FCC rule, and local municipalities do have the right to determine the number and placement of cell towers and to even deny the placement of them. The review states clearly that 5G towers are dangerous to the health and welfare of the residents and plant life. Most of the current locations of the towers in CB9 are in our district, a few blocks away from each other. The community in CB9 was never notified of their implementation, nor were we allowed to make any comments about their deployment. I conducted outreach at 236 Montgomery Street before the regularly scheduled community board meeting on Tuesday, the 25th of April, and all of the residents that I spoke with, elderly and families with young children, were very concerned about these towers, especially the one right outside their window. It's safety and destruction of the apartment views and not getting any notification about the device being placed right in front of their homes. Just to give you a little background on the photo that I used on my flyer, I don't know if any of you have seen it. It was put out in an email blast, so some folks may have. The photo depicts the Link 5G tower that is on the corner of Montgomery Street and Bedford. The photo was found online in an open letter written by the Municipal Arts Society, a nonprofit that works for smart urban design, city planning, and landmark preservation. It was written to the deputy mayors Sheena Wright and Maria Torres Springer, asking them to reconsider these towers, to reconsider their placement, to reconsider their safety. So this is not just an issue in CB9. This is an issue that's citywide, and many community boards have actually placed moratorium on putting up these towers in their communities. And I ask that CB9 do the same. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. Dante, who's next?
Next, I see Luis. Yeah. Luis Kahaya, yeah.
Great. So I have the floor now.
Yes. You see, you have the floor, sir.
All right. Hello, everyone. I live in the same building actually as Primo. My name is Luis. Encouraged to hear other people coming out asking for a moratorium. I am as well, basically on the basis of a lot of like well-founded science on basically how 5G impacts the human body like at intercellular level via like various high voltage channels and basically like there's a lack of any like fully federal scientific study on especially the long-term effects of 5G. And so I'm just making a plea to the community board to please keep our safety in mind. It's definitely like not a it's not a foregone conclusion that this is at all safe. This has actually been proven to be or shown to be quite risky, especially at the high like pulsing rates of 5G. So please take that into consideration and think about not only our elderly, but actually the majority of the community, especially people with cardiac or neurological issues. This could definitely precipitate any like long-term effects. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments, sir. Okay, Dante, who's next?
Do we see Arnold Gore? I don't see Arnold Gore.
All right, Mr. Gore, if you're present, if you could use the raise hand just so we can find you, that'll help us.
All right, next, Nicola Cox.
Nicola there?
Here, can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can see you, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, so tonight I am wearing a different hat. Good evening. My name is Nicola Cox. For those people who do not know me, I have been a community resident since childhood. And today I'm actually reading a statement from Alicia Boyd, who was unable to attend today's meeting due to a conflict with the rescheduled date. Okay, so now I'm shifting to Alicia. My name is Alicia Boyd, and I'm a community organizer. My group is MTOP, the Movement to Protect the People. Since August of 2022, the community has seen several 5G towers placed in Council District 35 in Brooklyn, Community Board 9. The community and the Community Board 9 was not made aware of these towers were coming. The residents did not have an opportunity to object to their installation, and within months, these towers will be activated. Residents and board members have asked CB9 why we were not told or hearings held regarding these towers, especially since the law states residents had to be notified and community boards could object to their placement and activation. Dante Arnwine and the district manager of CB9 for the past 2 years made the claim that he was responding to freedom of information requests only to find out why the community was not told about these towers nor given the opportunity to respond. One such FOIL came from me, where I asked for all of the notices that should have come to CB9, including their dates, etc. He promised to give them to me on April 20th, 2023. However, he failed to provide these documents and just ignored the FOIL. I appealed to Fred Baptiste, the chair of Community Board 9, and he too ignored the FOIL and refused to comment on why this information was not given. The lack of a disclosure to the community has been going on for years now, and Dante making the claim it was other city agencies that is not doing their job. However, he has refused to provide the evidence of these agencies' actions or lack thereof. Instead, he set some corrupt files that could not be opened and then demanded hundreds of dollars to provide hard copies. When board members have asked for the contact information to these agencies, Dante has refused to provide them, insisting that all communications between agencies must be done through him. The chair of the Environmental Protection Committee, Debbie Timothy, has declared that she will not address the 5G tower until she can find out why they were placed in our community without proper notice to the community. This stall tactic, along with Dante and Fred's refusal to disclose what happened, has continued
I
to have
apologize, Ms. Cox,
5G
but you
towers in our
need to
community
conclude right
ready
now
to
because
be
your time is up.
activated. Again, I'm just reading what she wrote.
Understood, but her time is up. The time is up though for 3 minutes.
Okay, I just have a couple more sentences. Bear with me. If you think that cancellation of the Tuesday's board meeting was a coincidence when people were organizing residents to come and speak out against the 5G towers, it wasn't. It is clear to residents in our community that Fred and Dante wanted these towers in our community for whatever gain they could get, and are now placing countless obstacles in the way to address the issue. No hearings have been conducted. The Environmental Committee has been sitting on the issue for 3 months and still have not made a resolution, and Fred and Dante are hiding their own behavior, knowing full well that they are apprised about the towers over a year ago and didn't do anything in terms of informing the residents and community board members. We, the residents, are demanding that Community Board 9 take action to request a moratorium on the activation of these towers. It is CB9's job to protect the community, not the chair or the district manager. Thank you.
Ms. Cox, we're significantly over, and let's not do. Thank you very much, Ms. Cox, for your comment. We are not going to continue that. We will give you a warning in advance when your time is concluded, and when your time is concluded, please respect that because it's the same amount of time we allow everyone on the board who's addressing the board this evening. Okay, Dante, who's next?
Give me a second. Okay, I think next was Jay Sword.
Okay.
And then after the call, attendees have raised their hands, so.
Okay, we'll take those after we've done. If you can, if we can just get the
All right,
order for
Mr.
that.
Sword should be on.
And Dante, if you and the team can just make sure, if you give it 30 seconds notice, just so that way they know they should be concluding their minutes.
Dante, did you say Sue Peters was on the listing?
Excuse me?
Did you say Sue Peters was on the listing?
Yes.
But she's in the waiting room.
Okay, thanks. All right, Mr. Sword is on.
Okay, can you hear me, Mr. Chair?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. A few people just spoke about the cell phone towers issue, which goes to the issue of the digital divide. I wanted to quickly speak about the idea of the community board divide. The digital divide is where many times rich people could afford cell phones and low-income people can't. So the digital divide tries to help low-income people get cell phones. There's a community board divide. This community board does not have the same rights as other community boards. I many times go to Community Board 17, which is in the South. Community Board 17, everybody could see each other, the community board members and the public. It's very important that the public be able to see each other so that the public could be energized, can interact, and can come to meetings, especially since we have Vital Brooklyn going on. The public needs to be able to see each other because the community board are public servants. They work for the public. CB 17 doesn't do it that way, and I'm sure all the other community boards don't. There's no web chat. You can't put a chat here. In CB 17, you can. There's a community board divide. Why does Community Board 17 not allow chat? It's so that people can communicate, say different things. Also, for the YouTube comments, they're shut off at the beginning. There needs to be more interaction, and otherwise we need regime change. And the new community board members should know that this community board is the public is under martial law. We can't do web chat. We can't see each other. It's an important thing. The cell phone towers never went through ULURP. The chair recognized that it never went through ULURP at the executive board meeting, but I ask everyone take a good hard look at section 363E2, 363E2. And it specifically says that if there are no land use impacts or implications, then there's no ULURP. So this franchise agreement, section 363E2, take a look at it. It specifically says, if there's no land use impacts or implications, then you don't need ULURP. Otherwise, you need it. You have a t-shirt, you want to sell I Love New York t-shirts, franchise on that, okay? Doesn't have to go through ULURP. You want to break up the street and touch all the streets, that's a land use implication. The city planning said there's no ULURP because they used the wrong threshold. They used significant adverse impact, the equivalent of like an EIS statement. The standard that was used was the wrong standard. It was significant adverse impact. The standard in section 363 is no land use impact or implication. This went through the New York City Land Use Committee. Who was on the committee? Jimani Williams and also Reynoso at that time. So 363 wasn't followed. Please get the public advocate into Community Board 9 and let the public advocate come here and give an opinion that this was done correctly. The public advocate has to fight for people. We can't just rely upon a private organization like MTOP to do the dirty work. The public advocate gets paid. He has to come here and do it. It shouldn't just be an office that you advance yourself to become governor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sword, your time has expired.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Thank you,
Very
Mr. Chair. Done.
Okay, who do we have next?
Attendees, Julie M. Well, actually, Sue Peters is on.
Okay. Sue Peters.
Should be able to. Yeah. Well, she was on. Okay. Who was on? Okay, we have Julie M. So we'll promote her. And then after that, Odette Wilkins.
Okay.
Julie M.
Hello.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I was also visiting about the 5G, Link 5G polls. I attended the last environmental committee meeting, and it seemed that things were left hanging and there was no desire even to discuss the language of a proposed resolution. So I was hoping to hear what kind of progress was being made. I understand that things are still somewhat stalled. I would just like to urge the board to move on this. There have been some developments just in the past week. Somebody already mentioned that the FCC is requiring City Bridge to do a historical review. In addition, they're also requiring a NEPA review, that is National Environmental Protection Act review. But one word about that, you should know that there has been a former FCC lawyer, Erica Rosenberg, who specialized in NEPA, who has been writing a lot of papers and giving interviews on how the FCC has not really been serving the public in regards to the way they are enforcing environmental review. The first stage is really just a checklist that is done by the provider themselves on an honor system. So though we have this slight reprieve, it shouldn't really reassure us. There are so many ways that the FCC is failing us and that so much information that needs to be explored. So I would just encourage again to take this time, this reprieve, to really open it up to an in-depth informational meeting so all viewpoints can be heard. If there are some on the board and in the community who think they're a good idea, they should come right out and say that and let the discussion be had. So thank you so much for letting me speak.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, Dante, who do we have next for?
Next was Odette Wilkins.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm President and General Counsel of Wired Broadband. We are a nonprofit located in Queens, New York, and we are focusing on safe technology for the public. I would like to talk a little bit more about the FCC letter that came down, which indicated that City Bridge was in violation of federal law. Specifically, they're in violation of the National Environmental Policy Act and the National Historical Preservation Act, Section 106. They were supposed to have conducted reviews under both of these laws prior to construction. And the FCC noted in its footnote 14 in its letter to City Bridge that it was not precluding enforcement actions against City Bridge with respect to the towers that have already been constructed. Now, of course, this raises many questions which should be investigated by the City Council and certainly should give pause to community boards. You can actually vote on disapproval and moratorium in order to reserve your right to fully consider all of these issues. Your voting on disapproval or a moratorium would certainly give you time in order to consider. So I would really advise that. Now, there have been multiple material breaches by City Bridge as a result of their lack of review. And that should be grounds either for terminating or for looking for the ability to terminate. And why did City Bridge not engage in this kind of review? And why did OTI not conduct due diligence that City Bridge was in compliance with federal law? So there's a lot of questions that arise from this. And I think that by simply noting your disapproval or moratorium in order to look into these issues more fully would be appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wilkins. Okay, Dante, who do we have next for the public comments? And I would just want to say at this time, we have a little bit less than 10 minutes. So for everyone, we want to make sure we're able to get through the list. 3 minutes is your max, but if you can be cognizant of the neighbors behind you, we want to make sure we try and get as many as we can.
Victoria.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. This is Victoria Hillstrom. I am joining you from Tribeca. Thank you very much for having me. We were invited by Alicia Boyd, our hero in our neck of the woods. And I just wanted to share that I know that Community Board 1 and Community Board 2, Janine Kiley, have all felt that a moratorium was necessary. We're concerned over Jerry Nadler's study, our former congressman, and I just wanted to get online. I apologize that I did not prepare something formally, but just share some of the speaker's sentiments that everyone is concerned. And of course, Deborah Glick is our assembly person. She is now the head of the committee for environmental. I don't know what her new appointment is, but we're all very concerned that the proper studies have not been conducted. And so why not just hit the pause button? So thank you very much for having me. And of course, keep up the good work. I just really wanted to share that Lower Manhattan all the way over to the Google building is Community Board 2. And I know that Tammy Meltzer, the chair of Community Board 1, and Janine Kiley feel the same way in Community Board 2. Everyone has resoundingly said, let's, first of all, what are these things? Are they dangerous? And why haven't we been involved in the process? So anyway, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us this evening and for your comments. Dante, who do we have next?
Okay, we got Sue Peters. Give me 1 second. All right, Sue Peters should be on. Sue?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
You
we
can.
can.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm here. I had the hardest time getting in. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I just want to say a few words of things that I've learned about the jumbo towers. I've been speaking out about it now for a number of months because I've started doing my own research, my own reading, and it's very disturbing, especially when I read what many scientists over the last 20 years have been publishing, but yet from presentations of OTIs in the mayor's office, they don't mention any of it. And I'll just give you an example. I don't know what other people have said, but I learned that the federal agency that is in charge of overseeing the radiation from these cell towers is the Federal Communications Commission, FCC. However, their guidelines for what is safe radiation was done in 1996 when there were very few cell phones. You know, the increase of wireless radiation in our city is astronomical since 1996, but yet they have refused to change their guidelines and revisit all of this studies that show that underneath their guidelines that's supposed to be safe, all of these scientists have done studies and shown really deleterious health effects. So, and the court in 2021, the court is a federal court. The FCC was being sued over not changing their guidelines. And the court said to the FCC at the end of that court case, they said, you have to go back and look at the 11,000 pages of scientific research that over the last 10, 15 years that you refused to look at in 2021. And you have to come back and say, why are you keeping your 1996 guideline? And I just want to say, you know, these telecommunication companies, the ones that make all the money from this, they are huge. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of power, and they have a lot of power with the FCC. So we have to, on a local level, we have to educate ourselves and fight this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comments, Ms. Lee. Okay, I think we have time for 1 or 2 more speakers. Dante, who do we have next?
There's no more attendees, just board members.
All right. Okay, who's the first board member who has their hand up?
Celeste Chase has been up for a minute.
Okay, all right, so we'll see you, Ms. Chase.
Good evening, board and community. I have I want to express my support of a moratorium on the 5G towers. I do think the health issues and the surveillance issues are ones that the community should deal with, particularly as we hear that Congressman Adler even is asking the FCC to get involved. My second concern relates to the process with respect to information that's provided to the community and what needs to be done via FOIL or not. And so because the community is expressing so much concern, I'm asking that the board work as much as possible to provide information in a smooth and an efficient manner. And to the extent that we are not informed about what must be foiled and what does not have to be foiled, that the community board provide that information to the community so that we're all on the same page and there's less of acrimony in these meetings. That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the comment. Okay, I think we have, I believe we've exhausted the public commentary period at this time. We're at the end. I do want to thank all those who have provided commentary for this evening. This is important for us to hear as a board, as board members and as committees, to understand where the concerns and the issues are in the community. And, I want you to, for everyone who's spoken this evening, to understand that we've definitely heard everything you've said. These are the things we take back to our committees. This is what helps us hopefully make more informed decisions and ask the right questions and get the right information. So we can take the actions as necessary and appropriate for our community. And if you have any additional information or if you have any questions, please always feel free to contact the district office and they will turn that around as well in terms of trying to assist in any way possible. And that goes with any even service issues as well. So one of the things I want to put out to the entire community, to the board members, to the new board members, the board doesn't always know what it doesn't know. So one of the things we always request is if you see issues, if you see things that are happening in the district, please utilize 311, call them, file the complaint, file the issue. So that way it's in the computer system because it's very helpful. The city's very data oriented and it's helpful when we can document the issues as we see them. And I would ask you to follow up after that and also contact the district office, because that way they can pick it up from there, having that information in terms of what the reference numbers are. They can pick it up. They can possibly call our agency liaisons and hopefully you can get to a faster resolution or be able to track these things. But absolutely, that's what we're here for. We're here for the service. We're here to advocate for our community as well. And again, I thank everyone for the comments this evening. All right, at this time, we are now going to move in the agenda to acknowledgements. Dante and team, if we can help, I would ask at this time, actually, if there are any public officials or if there are any representatives for any offices or agencies, please use the raise hand function so we can make sure at this time we can promote you and allow you to address the community. Again, only because we do have a pretty packed agenda, we would ask that you keep the comments brief. If there are major announcements or if you just give your contact information or even just to say hello as well. Okay, Dante, who do we have?
Okay, we have Raul Rothblatt, Assemblymember Cunningham's office.
Mr. Rothblatt, welcome.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's great to be here. I just got off a CB14 discussion on the Flatbush African Burial Ground, and there was definitely a lot of interest in collaborating with other folks. The Flatbush African Burial Ground is in CB14, but it's quite close to CB9. And it would be great to collaborate. We are working with with Prospect Park, and specifically the Lefferts Historic House is doing a new reimagining Lefferts, giving voice to the enslaved African Americans who work there and were very much part of this. So I'm really looking forward to collaborating that and making sure that the community owns this history. This is not something that should be owned by Prospect Park or some agency or anything. This is something that really should be owned by all of us. So I was just on that and it's been on my brain. I want to thank CB9 for the great day of action. I would spout a lot about that, but there's a lot of other things coming up. We have some new events that are coming up, new sponsorships. We don't even have a flyer for this. We're working with the Local Development Corporation of Crown Heights to do two game nights with seniors on May 9th. It's going to be at the Crown Heights apartment on St. John's. And on May 16, it's going to be at the 600 Albany, the Kings County senior residence. And we're also, there's going to be silent disco, a lot of coming up as well. Our Women of Distinction is coming up June 15th, which is going to be here before you know it. We're working with NHS to do they have, of course, a huge amount. If anybody does not know NHS, should definitely learn. It has a lot of great tools for land homeowners and renters, but they have a real estate conference taking place tomorrow. There's tons of legislation going on right now. Of course, the budget is in high gear right now, but we've been working on a whole variety of things. One thing that may have missed the headlines is doing things to make sure that people coming out of jails and formerly incarcerated get to know about their voting rights. And I see my colleague here, Sydney. I'm not sure if she also wants to jump in, but if you have any questions, please give us a call. You are always welcome to use our office as a community space. We want to hear from you. Use our space as your space. It's at 249 Empire Boulevard at Rogers. It's a beautiful space. As long as you're not using for a political purpose or a fundraising purpose, use it for free. We have some people doing some after school programs for free. So please come join us. And I've probably gone over my time. Please stay in touch. Thank you.
All right, Fred, you're muted. Yeah.
I just realized. Okay, Dante. Thank you very much, Mr. Rothblatt, for that. And thank please thank the Assembly member for all of his hard work. Partnership. Okay, Dante, who do we have next?
Next, Mr. Eli Slavin, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke's office.
Good evening, everybody. It's been a great meeting. But just for public disclosure, I want to welcome my nephew, Israel Lehrer, to the group. Hardworking boy, and he's a good guy. Okay, so quickly, I'm usually very short on the meetings. We're at 222 Lenox Road. We handle federal issues. We're at 718-287-1142. We're open for business. But I have just very quick announcements. Upcoming this Monday, May 1st, there is a united group of very, very well-known Congress people. Congressman Goldman, Velasquez, and Congressman Yvette Clarke, and also the Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries are participating in an Academy Night, and that's at the St. Francis College, which is on 179 Livingston Street. And I'll read off the flyer. It's come learn about the Service Academy nomination process and other opportunities. And I think the Community Board 9 has that flyer. You need to register for it. It's a long site, but if you go onto the, if you email me, I can send you the way you have to RSVP. My email is eli.slavin, that's SLAVIN @mail.house.gov. And I'd be more than happy to forward you the RSVP. We're also having with Community Board 8, and those of you who will be board with Community Board 8, there'll be a listening meet and greet with the Congresswoman. The Congresswoman is now going through all her community boards and going to have a listening session to see where we can be of assistance to you on the federal level. Community Board 9 is also scheduled, and that'll be towards the end of June, so we have plenty of time to get that information to you. Community Board 8's meeting will be on Wednesday, May 3rd from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Crown Heights Apartments, which is 1055 St. John's Place. let me just go back for a second. The Academy Night that's coming up is the hours of this Monday, May 1st, is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Otherwise, I want to wish you all a good evening, and I've taken notes of what was discussed today, and I forwarded to the Congresswoman. Thank you for having me.
Thanks as always, Mr. Slavin, and please give our best to the Congressman.
Hey, it's Warren. I have a question for Eli.
Sure.
Eli, I've contacted you in the last 2 months about an issue and you have not responded. You discussed it with me. You said that you needed a little more time, but check your emails because I do think that the unresponse is not good for our community. Thank you.
Hang on, can you just bump that up to me? I have my phone right
No,
now.
you know, Eli, I did that already. Okay.
All right. So.
Okay, just
All right,
quickly,
so
what was the
thank you
issue?
very much.
What was the issue again? Just refresh my
No,
memory.
I'm not gonna, this was a resident
Okay, this is
issue.
order of the day.
Hold on a second. This
No,
was
no,
a resident
order of the
issue
day.
that we just needed
It is, and we
to
are currently, order of the
define.
day. We are
Excuse me,
currently
Fred.
in acknowledgements. We are currently in acknowledgements
Just amazing.
that we need to
Just
take
amazing.
offline, please.
Okay,
Thank you
all
very
right,
much.
Fred.
Okay. We are now going to move on. Again, thank you, Mr. Slavin. Who else do we have with us this evening?
We have Assemblymember Brian Cunningham on the line.
Well, no, because we already heard from his representative, so he can't talk now. No, absolutely, please. Assembly member, thank you for joining us this evening.
Good evening, Chair. I won't waste too much time. I know that Raul already represented me very well in bringing some updates in the community. Just wanted to just remind people that, you know, for the last 27 days, we've been late on the state budget. While I'm not excited about not having a budget passed on April 1st, I think it's critically important that we have a right budget passed when we do get it passed. We are going to be getting back in a session next week as of Monday. And I'm assuming and hopeful that we will begin to move some budget bills. We have done some extenders to make sure state employees aren't impacted by this late budget. While state elected officials are not being paid at this time, we want to ensure that the state government continues to run efficiently. We hope to have a budget passed shortly, and I hope to bring you more updates from that budget once we have an agreement. But again, thank you for this community board for all the work you guys are doing. I'm looking forward to the budget being passed and being able to be back home more frequently, being at events in person and connecting with residents and talking about what wins we had in Albany. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you for all the work you're doing up in Albany.
Can I ask a question?
I'm sorry, but we have.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but we do have to continue on, and we can't afford it at this time. But definitely his representative is here, and we'll, and his office is open to taking questions.
Right, that's true.
All right.
Thank you very much for that.
Damaris, Department of Buildings.
Hi, Dante. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I just wanted to come on and make a quick announcement regarding the Department of Buildings small business team. So if you are an entrepreneur or a small business owner and you are looking to get one-on-one guidance from Department of Buildings at no cost, if you're planning on renovating a business or opening up a new business, really anything that you're trying to do structurally or concerning construction and you're a small business owner, you can come to the Brooklyn Borough office every third Tuesday of the month, and you can meet directly with members of DOB staff for guidance on how to go about, filing permits, maybe getting violations waived, anything really, any guidance regarding construction. It's a really great opportunity for the public to get some assistance with this in their small businesses. I know we've had a lot of people reach out to me personally. I've had people reach out to me specifically trying to get guidance on this. So this is just the agency's way of trying to be more helpful to the community. All the information is on our website. Like I said, you can just look up small business team at New York City Department of Buildings. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Damaris. Is there a flyer for that as well? Is there something you can share with the office that we can post or share on our listserv?
We don't have a flyer available, but I can send you, actually, my team has actually printed something out just for us to hand out at like events. So I can send you that and you can send that out to the community.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Go ahead, Dante. Who else do we have?
We have an attendee with a phone number, 0241.
Is that
Well, they raised their hand during the acknowledgement section. So
It's coming from the GA's office.
there.
Oh, okay.
I
How
couldn't
you
get on
doing?
the web page. I'm fine, thank you. I hope everybody is well. I just want to bring you greetings from our office, and we have one initiative. We're having a gun buyback event this Saturday. It's from 10 to 1, so it's a short period of time, and it's going to be at All Saints Roman Catholic Church, 115 Troop Avenue in Brooklyn. No iPads this time. We are teaming up or partnering with the Attorney General Office, and we are offering $500 for rifles or ghost guns. Handguns is $500 for the first one and $150 for the second one if you have more than one. Rifles and shotguns are $75, and non-working guns or BB guns or antique guns will be $25. So please come out, shake down your grandkids, shake down your kids, bring those guns out and get some money. So thank you, and I'll see you all next month. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Karen. Pleasure.
You're welcome.
All right. Next, we have Arna, IDCC.
Is looking, are you there?
Hi, so sorry. I didn't unmute. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Arna Lipkin. I'm Community Liaison for Connect, which is wraparound mental health services, where we do community outreach, special events based on community feedback. I want to thank Francesca Leopold, second vice chair and chair of Health and Social Services, for helping us with our recent bystander intervention training, actually that took place last night at our office, where we learned very helpful tips to how to intervene when there is a challenging public safety situation, as well as how to stay safe while doing so. This is an offshoot of our public safety forum, which took place last month at Brooklyn Children's Museum, which was also very successful, where we had NYPD, Cure Violence, and several community-based organizations. There are situations which we face on a daily basis, such as traveling on public transportation, waiting in lines, or just simply walking down our street. We see something going down, and we really need to think twice. Should we get involved? Should we not get involved? But when you have these bystander trainings by people who are trained, it can be very helpful to help us, think ahead and how to get involved and how to do it safely. So if anybody that's here tonight is interested, you can either contact Francesca Leopold, who's also part of the Human Rights Commission. I'm sorry, I didn't say that Francesca is part of the Human Rights Commission, or you can contact myself and I'll be happy to give you the information. I also recommend that maybe we could do this as a community board project, because, in this day, we never know what's going to be going out of our doors. So the more we can empower people, I think it would really lend itself, especially to our mental health wellness. I'd also like to mention that we had a new Wellness Wednesday food pantry starting last week, where we had people lined up around the corner. We gave out fresh produce. We gave out some cleaning supplies. We also had our sister LSA Medical Management organization giving out free Narcan kits and training. So we hope to do this once a month. Our next pantry will be at our office as well, 921 East New York, on May 17th. So that's the third Wednesday of the month. And this is being put on by my colleague Diana Irving, who also if you can't make the food pantry, we have a brochure she's putting together with a number of food pantries for every day of the week. That should be ready in about a week. So anybody interested in that, feel free to email me. My email is alipkind@interborough.org. That's alipkind@interborough.org. Lastly, we have our monthly gun violence group also being done by Diana Irving, gun violence support group, or for anybody who's gone through experienced trauma of gun violence. That's the first Wednesday of the month. If anyone has any questions, my phone number is 929-677-0060. Thank you so much and have a great rest of the month.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lipkin. Okay, all right, Dante.
Taekwon Coleman, Councilmember Joseph's office.
Looking for him. Is Mr. Coleman?
Not seeing. Okay, Taekwon, all right. Okay. Josie Reyes from Assemblymember Ferris Front Forces office. Okay, I guess they don't have any updates.
If there are any other representatives or elected officials on the line, please use the raise hand function so we can find you and acknowledge you. I don't believe I see any other raised hands. Do you see anything
No,
else, Dante?
yeah, none.
Done?
No, yeah, no raised hands.
Okay.
Hi,
Hold on.
Oh, okay, here we go.
can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Hi, yeah, I'm Jazzy Reyes. I'm the district organizer for Assemblymember Ferris Front Forest. The one thing I just want to talk about is the, I don't know if you can see the back room here, is the bike lane that's coming on Bedford. I don't know if it's in the district. The district is a little bit different, but yeah, there's a lot of bike lanes going on. So when I get more information about your district, I'll let you guys know. That's one thing. Thanks.
No worries. Thank you very much. And if you do get information, I think we saw some information about in District 3, but that is a larger conversation we're having in our transportation committee as well. So if you do have anything, please, share whatever you have. It is a conversation we want to make sure we have from the board level, so that way we understand, and we're able to make informed decisions, have an informed conversation about that. But thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. All right. So with that, we're going to conclude the acknowledgements. And with that, that also concludes our public session. I want to thank all those members of the public, again, who spoke this evening. And I do want to thank all of our elected officials and the representatives in those offices who came to introduce themselves and give us a little bit of what's happening in the district as well. For all those who joined, typically they send that information as well to our district office. And that's part of the communications that goes out in our weekly blast. And usually they'll give their information, or we can also help you to make those connections through the district office if you wish to reach any of those offices. But again, thanks to everyone who participated in our public session for this evening. And this is the information we always need in terms of being able to get the information, learn about what's happening, what resources are out there, and share them and spread them as well. Okay.
Will the board members have a chance to respond and to the committee, to the whole board about anything we heard tonight?
Typically, we try and move those conversations to the committees, because it's one of those things where it's like, there'll be so many things that we'd want to talk about or ask questions. And there's just so many of us, and there's just a limited amount of time. If there's a question specifically, we can entertain it during the business session, but more likely than not, it's probably more appropriate in the committee, the committee setting. But if you have a question, a burning question, we can take it.
Well, it's not necessarily a question as much as it is an observation, and that is, I've never seen in the several months that I've been on the board so many of the public speakers during the opening session so opposed to one project as they were to these towers. And I don't know if I've never, I mean, and they seem not to be organized, and yet they seem to be organized in the sense that they see major danger ahead. And so I'm on the social services and health committee, and maybe that's the place to go to breach this subject. But I just find it very I felt hamstrung that this issue came up, and I'm not blaming Jonte or Mia or anything. I've been a little negligent in some ways, but I just find it amazing that so many speakers were unionized in their objections to these towers. And I mean, anyway, I digress, and I'll bring it up in the committee. But I just think it's a worrisome thing. Anyway, so that's it.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. And again, it's like in the business session, when we get to new business, we'll see if we'll discuss that a little bit and talk a little bit about where we currently stand with that and some of the next steps that are happening in this. But I do want to move on in the agenda. So we are now we are concluding our public session. We are now going to our business session. So the business session is where we consider all the matters that have been voted on by committees and by the executive committee to be considered by the board. So there'll be a couple of matters of business that will be taken care of. At this time, the first order of business will be to call the roll. At this time, I'd like to introduce everyone, especially our new members, to our executive secretary, Ms. Linda Watson-Lord, who will call for the attendance for this evening.
Good night, everyone. Like the president, I hope I do not do much injustice to the new names. Here we go. Maria Acosta.
Good evening, everyone. Present.
Thank you. Kyrie Ali.
No one has anything to say? No. I know the video was low.
Kyrie.
If we can.
Thank you.
A
Nicholas
reminder, please
Almanar.
keep your mics.
Present. Fred Baptiste.
Present.
Janelle Brazil Charles.
Present.
Rabbi Yaakov Berman.
Presence.
Thank you. Warren Burke. Warren Burke. Alita Bess.
Present.
Augustine Blackwell.
Here.
Celeste Chase.
Present.
Thank you. Suki Chow.
Present.
Max Coing.
Present.
Eve Shabi Cohen. Eve Shabi Cohen.
Present.
Sol Cleary. Sol. Jamie Etskin. Jamie Etskin.
I'm present.
Thank you.
Jamie's present.
Gotcha. Candace Edwards.
Present.
Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez. Bishop Gonzalez. Rod Herbert.
Rod Herbert is present.
Thank you. Yosef Herskov.
Present. Hello, present.
How do you pronounce it?
Hershkup, Yosef Hershkup.
Thank you.
Thank
Renisha
you.
Labari.
Present.
Primo Lozana.
Present.
Mina Lagote. Maina Logote,
Present.
Israel Lahir,
Present.
Francisco Leopold,
Present.
Courtenay Louise,
Present.
Latwin Mavina,
Present.
Aaron Mazursky, Aaron
Present.
Mazursky, Jean Renier, Mibang, Jean Renier, Nicoya McGee, Natoya,
Present. Natoya McGee.
thank you. Zaletta Mochin,
Present.
Patricia Moses,
Here.
thank you. Beverly Newsom, Beverly Newsom,
Present.
Etrin Norville, Ethan Norville,
Present.
Paul Pascal, Yankee Pearson, Milford Puett,
Here.
Vanessa Raptopoloso, Vanessa, Yunella Rumperi,
Present.
Dexter Roberts,
Present.
Felice Robertson,
Present.
Benjamin Rosenberger, Mr. Rosenberger,
He stated earlier that he has to leave early for family events.
oh, that was it. Thank you. Excuse. Don't,
Hello?
hello?
Yeah,
Who's
it's
that?
Yankee. It's Yankee.
Okay,
Pearson.
all right, I got you. Miss Saab, Dion Saab.
Diane Saab, present.
Thank you. I hope I'm calling it right. Omari Scott,
Present.
Debbie Timothy,
Present.
thank you. Tyler Ware,
Present.
Linda Watson Lord, present. Teresa Westerdahl,
Present.
John Wolfling,
You got it. Yep, present.
thank you. Lorianne Woolsey, Smell Zachman, okay. Chair, we've got 41 persons present.
Madam
Sweet.
Secretary, if I could ask, could you just call the
Hello?
names for those who didn't get, just to make sure?
Okay, right. Bishop Gonzalez,
Present.
thank you. Okay, now I got. Oh, 1 minute, let me go over the ones that didn't call. Warren Burke. Soul Cleary. Jean Renier Mibing, Jean Renier or Jean Reen, Paul Pascal, Vanessa Raptopoulos, whose name, excuse, Lorianne Woolsey, and Samel Zachman. So my attendance with Bishop answering, Mr. Chair is 42 present. And so we do have a quorum.
Okay, hearing 42 present, we currently have a
Mhm.
quorum. I thank all the members for that. Okay, so at this time, we are now going to move on to the next item of business, which would be the approval of the minutes. The minutes have been sent out as part of the package to the board. At this time, are there any questions or amendments that need to be made to the minutes? Okay, I call for a second time. Are there any amendments, changes that need to be made to the minutes? Okay, hearing no amendments to the minutes, no edits. Is there any objection to adopting the minutes by common consent?
No objections here.
Okay, hearing no objections, Madam Secretary, please note that the minutes have been adopted by common consent.
So noted.
Okay, all right, we are going to move on to the committee reports. The committee reports are also included as part of the package for the board. They have been distributed in advance. At this time, are there any chairs who have announcements to make? I would ask you to please limit your comments to a minute or less, just to make any major announcements or things that members need to look out for. Okay,
Hey, Fred,
hearing,
can you hear?
yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to make the community board aware of a litany of complaints that the Public Safety Committee has received about 510 Flatbush Avenue, which goes under the business name of Gaia Nomaya. We received written complaints over the course of a year. We reached out to the complainants and we invited them to come to our most recent Public Safety Committee meeting, as well as the owner of the business. Owner of the business did not come. They did respond via email. However, we had 4 or 5 members of the residents at that building come and make very lengthy number of complaints about noise at that location.
What kind of business is it? What kind of business is it?
So
And
it
what's the
was,
cost to it?
yeah, it's promoted kind of as a health and wellness center, but they also serve drinks, and it has turned into what sounds like a bit more of a nightclub recently. And I think it does both, but primarily promotes itself initially, at least, as a health and wellness center, and has more recently been promoting itself as a bit more of a nightclub. The complaints are 1 about noise and 2 about going beyond the hours of 4 a.m. And so
what's the cross street? What's the cross street?
it is Lincoln Road.
Oh, that place.
Flatbush and Lincoln Road, yeah.
Yeah,
Near
that place. Next
yeah.
to next to the UPS store.
I don't know where the UPS store is, but yes, it's 510 Flatbush Avenue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So I say this just because we are likely to hear more complaints at our future community board meetings. There is going the license for the SLA license for that place will be back up for renewal in July of this year, and so just want to give you a heads up that we've been in contact with both the owner as well as the community members living there who have expressed their grievances. But Fred, I don't want to take too much time, so I will stop there. And I see a few hands, but I don't know if they're for me or they just want to share about their committees.
All right, if it's a committee report, I'm taking from the chairs only at this time. If there's a committee report or announcement, we'll take that. Otherwise, there's only 2 action items. One is the liquor license that we're discussing this evening, and the other is going to be a mental health forum that was approved by.
I have a question for Mr. Primo.
We'll take
Go
it. It has to
for
be
it,
very quick.
Jacob.
Very quick.
Okay, quick.
Right, so a quick intro that I don't know if the board remembers that for about 1.5 years, or at least a year, I was engaged in mediation between the owner of Guyana Maya and the tenants. And we're working with them to put, I think they put in, I believe, about $50,000 to $70,000 worth of soundproofing. And they had some testing done and they were below the sound limits. And then they came before the board and the board voted to deny them, whatever they wanted anyway. The board voted to deny it. And I said, like, either reward people for good behavior or we're going to lose our credibility. And I think a large part of this is that after that meeting, we lost our credibility and it sort of everything broke up. And so I have actually 2 questions. My first question is, I reached out to the owner that I built a relationship over the years. And I said, it's really important to come to this public safety meeting and address these issues. And he said he got last minute notice and he had a prior event. So I guess my question to you is, when was he given notice about this meeting? That's question A. Question B is, are you aware of any testing done by any agencies where they were above the legal sound limits for events? Because that's one of the big points of contention, that some of the tenants had issues and they went and tested and it was below the legal sound limits. So everybody deserves to live in peace. But my question is, are you aware of any testing by any city or state agency that demonstrated they're above the legal limits? That's question number 2. And question number 1 is, when were they invited to the public safety meeting? Was there adequate time for them to come? You're muted.
Thank you. I am looking at.
Well, let's hold on. Before you answer, hold on. I'm going to have to interrupt here. That is really, those are the conversations that should happen at the committee meeting in terms of if there's appropriate notice or anything else. Rather than get into that at the board meeting, it's not necessarily appropriate for us to do that. That's really a question that should be taken up. That can be answered offline or at the committee meeting that's scheduled for this.
Well, then, excuse me, Mr. Chair, when you say somebody didn't show up at a meeting, if there wasn't enough time for them to come, that's part of the conversation.
I think the notice was that there's this issue that is there, but I think the full discussion of that should happen and is appropriate at the committee meeting. The chair has actually already.
Well, I'd appreciate an answer by what the chair is saying.
Understood. What I'm saying is, this is best appropriately dealt with at the committee level. So the committee meeting is probably the area where to take care of that. That question can be answered. Or if you wish to direct that to him directly, he can give you a response with respect to that.
Fred, he could have answered the question in less time than it took to make that disclaimer, but whatever you want.
We're going to move on. Thank you. All right. I'm seeing 2 questions. Okay. No, we need to get back to order. Are there any other chairs who wish to give any announcements at this time? Very quickly. Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on. Again, there's only 2 business items from the committees that have been moved forward. That's going to be for the liquor license for Gruitt that we'll be discussing this evening, and for the mental health forum that's going to be coming as well. So those will be discussed when we get to that. Next, we're going to move on to the district manager's report. Dante, do you have a report for the board at this time?
Yes, I do. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dante Arnwan. I serve as the district manager of Brooklyn Community Board 9. For the new members, welcome to the board. I look forward to working with you. I'm definitely excited to hear some of your guys' stories, what you guys do as a career, if you're retired, what you guys do, and what your significant interest is in Community District 9. We do a lot in the board office, so don't be afraid to reach out. If there's things you want to do out in the community, reach out to us. We'll try to accommodate as best as possible, but just wanted to briefly give you all a welcome. So last Friday, we did hold a day of action at the CB9 office. It went very well. I just want to thank all the participants who came out and participated in the Day of Action along with the sponsors and partners. It was a good event, and I look forward to replicating something like that in hopefully the fall, but definitely next year. So thank you all who came out for that. Back on March 30th, we did hold a free tax prep with the New York City Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. Some information that I did hear in that, which was kind of news to me, is that I believe that that service offers services for small businesses. So if you have a small business, they will assist you with your taxes. That's something that I'm definitely looking into to try to further that information. So once I get that, I'll forward that to the appropriate committee. But if you guys know any business owners who may need to do their taxes, have them reach out and I'll connect them to DCWP. Also, the RBC Brooklyn Half Marathon is going to be on Saturday, May 20th, 7 a.m. The traffic advisory was sent out. So you all as board members and any resident committee members on here should have received that. We will also be sending it out via our weekly e-blast. So if you sign up for our weekly e-blast, if you know of anyone who needs information, have them sign up. That notice will be there as well. And then I also have scheduled that notice so people don't say that I didn't send it out. It will be scheduled every Saturday until May 20th. So it should be in your emails. If you, and forward it to people, please. Not everyone is attached to the board. So please forward that information out to folks so they have notice. Also, this had come up in the past month about notifications. So I just wanted to bring this up, is that National Grid and Con Edison are doing a lot better of sending us notifications. So again, board members, you all will be receiving that via email. It will also be in our weekly e-blast. This was an issue a couple of months ago up until recent, where these entities weren't sending notices, and then people are calling the board office with their complaints. So it looks like they've heard the complaints from me, and they're sending the notices. So just be looking out for those. I wanted to bring to everyone's attention at Lincoln Road, Washington Ave, and Flatbush Avenue, DOT did add an additional no enter sign. People are driving from Lincoln trying to go into Washington. They heard the request, they got it up in a timely manner, so I will give credit for that. So there is an additional no do not enter sign there. So if you see people continuing to go through that intersection the wrong way, just let us know so we can reach out to DOT. Just a couple of things here. I'm very pleased to say in partnership with HRA, HRA will be going to the Crown Heights Library the last Friday of each month starting in May. They're going to be there providing SNAP and cash assistance to constituents. So if you know of anyone who needs those services, they don't have to go all the way downtown or to Manhattan. They'll be there every Friday at the Crown Heights Library. So we'll have that in our e-blast. If anyone needs to sign up, the information will be on the flyer, the phone number, so they can just sign up directly with HRA. Also, in partnership with the Department of Finance, they will be holding, I guess, not workshops, but they'll be in the office providing services for SCREE and DREE in the board office every last Thursday of the month starting in May. We know a lot of folks in the area are older adults, need to get on the SCREE program. If you know of anyone who's living in a controlled rent stabilized building who may be eligible, have them reach out to the board office so we can connect them with DOF. But I think it's good that DOF is coming to us, and it's pretty routine. So if you know of anyone who needs those services, just have them reach out to the board office. Let's see. Also, you all may have seen this, but yesterday we were out on Bedford Avenue and Montgomery Street with HPD. They were out there providing their resources from their mobile unit. We'll be looking to do pop-ups with HPD at various locations throughout the district. We will target large apartment buildings and well-trafficked areas. So once we get a new date for the next location, I'll be sending that out. But we did receive really good positive feedback from people in Bedford having HPD there. So we're definitely going to be looking to do that more in the future. Let's see. Also wanted to note that there were a couple of fires recently. One was at 77 Sullivan Place, the other at 1760 Union Street. Unfortunately, both were fatal fires. So if you know of anyone who may need like fire safety information, please reach out to us. We will connect you with FDNY, and they'll get you the information. But I wanted to just speak on 1760 just a little bit. Information from the Department of Buildings is that 1760 currently has a partial vacate order on the property. The owner is required to hire an engineer to assess the damages. Well, that was by April 10th. And they're supposed to repair the work sometime in May. The partial vacate order will remain until all of that's corrected. I believe that the owner did get an engineer to assess the damage, but DOB did inform me that there are no permits to repair the work as of yet. So that's information that I have on that. The Office for the Prevention of Hate Crimes and the City Commission on Human Rights. I think actually someone might have mentioned this, but is excited to announce that they're going to launch the community projects grants to prevent and address bias and hate. Individuals, groups, nonprofits, institutions, etc., can apply up to $5,000 to implement a creative project. If you think this might be good for you, any groups in the community, reach out to the board office and we will forward that information along. As mentioned earlier, I believe that we're looking at a June date now. We will be doing some info session meet and greet with the Congresswoman's office. So once all the details get finalized for that, we will disseminate that as well. Let's see, emergency heat is actually still available until tomorrow. So if you know of anyone who may need emergency heat, have them send an email to the board office or call the board office early in the morning. So we can connect them to the resources that they need for that. Let's see. Oh, another thing, this is something that had come up recently over the past couple of months was the Shirley Chisholm Monument. It does look like the Department of Cultural Affairs does have an update on that. So we're trying to get them to come to one of the upcoming meetings. So once that's finalized, I will have more information on that. But I know that that was a topic of discussion and people have been wondering what's happening with the monument. So hopefully Cultural Affairs will be able to provide us that update. Other than that, again, I just wanted to welcome all the new board members. Look forward to working with you all. Please reach out to the board office. We are a resource. Something I just want to note of importance is that we do send out a lot of information via email. So please check your email. It's a lot. Like a lot. So please read it, check it. If you have any questions, please reach out to the board office and we'll clarify whatever needs to be clarified. But I just wanted to take this last moment to thank my staff, my team. I say this often, we hear complaints all day. We heard complaints tonight. I'm gonna hear more complaints tomorrow and every day next week and then so on. And we do this work with grace. And I just want to give a shout out to my team. We don't get any acknowledgement. So I just want to, I'm acknowledging you all. So you're welcome. So I just want to give that quick shout out. All right, I'm finished with my report. Thank you.
Well, I want to take the opportunity to acknowledge you and your team as well. Thank you for all that you do. And especially for the new members and for those members of the community who are here. We have a phenomenal district office team. They get things done and they're dedicated and professional. So I thank them and I think you'll look forward to working with them as much as I do. Okay, so at this time, we will entertain a couple of questions for the district manager and his report. If you please use the raise hand function, we will take your questions. All right, hold on one second. I'm going to create a speakers list. Ms. Westerdahl, I do see your hand. Well, actually, so
I don't have a question for Dante. I want to talk about the resolution and for the moratorium that I got together for EP that was posted, that was sent out to everybody.
okay, we'll come back to that later. Right now, let's go through the district manager's report. We'll have an opportunity, I guess, when we get to old business or new business. We'll take your question. Suki. Suki, did you have a question for the DM? Okay, sure. All right, we'll come back. Ms. Newsom, I see your hand. You have a question for the DM?
Yeah, really, I just want to comment the fire on 77 Sullivan.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're really low. Can barely hear you. Could you repeat that?
She was making a comment on the fire. Yeah, your volume was a little low, Beverly.
Bev, what do you want to say? She's trying to talk about the fire that happened in Ebbets.
Yeah.
What is the question?
What's the question, Bev?
To the crime, please step forward to the 71st.
I only heard part of that. It sounded like if you said if anybody, it was a crime, if anybody knew about it, to please contact the 71st. Is that accurate?
Accurate.
Okay. Okay, no, thank you for that and duly noted. Okay, Ms. Moses.
Good evening, everybody. And again, I'd like to welcome all of the new members. Dante, this question is for you. I just wanted to know, in your district service meeting, did you discuss the matter of those 5G towers? Because, you know, many complaints have been coming in. I think we discussed it in the executive meeting. I just want to know, did you bring it forward to anyone in your meeting?
No, OTI isn't an agency on the cabinet. So no, I did not bring it up.
Okay, Ms. Roan Perry.
I'm
Ms. Roan
sorry,
Perry?
I was hand for Beverly.
Oh, okay, all right.
What, you wanted to ask a question, Bev?
Ask about the
Speak, you're on speaker, go ahead, ask.
what about the community advisory committee, Dante?
Yes, so they're still working to finalize that. I did ask about that. They're working to finalize it. They got the names that were sent over, everyone who sent over names that were interested. So once that gets finalized, they said that they would be reaching directly out to folks who signed up, who inquired.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, Mr. Pruitt.
I got a question about the towers again. I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds by not keeping this in the committee but Dante, a minority of the speakers who opposed the towers project tonight mentioned you by name and in terms of being a part of the conspiracy to hurt the community, and I know that's not the case, but why would they come up with such a outlandish fear? If you could help me out with that, and also, what is the fear that these towers cause cancer or shorten your life or shrink your brain or something? I mean, what is the what is the essential fear with these towers?
Yeah, no, thank you for the question. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of people are having thoughts about the health ramifications of the towers. That's obviously a real concern. So the things, obviously multiple people, different people have made accusations and assertions about how these towers should have been placed on the streets. I will leave them for their own thoughts and opinions. So to what problem people have with them, unfortunately, you just had to ask them, but what I'm hearing mostly is the health ramifications. To why people would like to, I don't know, slander my name, I have absolutely no clue. There's no conspiracy. There are people who sit on this board who received the email from me regarding the 5G towers. A year went by, nobody did anything, right? I think that, I just want to take this opportunity, take this moment, because I guess people don't really think about what my job entails, right? Like if I hear people, and I do hear the concerns, I hear the sentiments, right? I hear people tell me I should take it to the district service cabinet. Let's see, if I take it to the district service cabinet, the question is going to become, well, who did you speak to? Who was in that meeting? What were you talking about? Why did you advocate for this? The community wasn't there, right? That's what's going to happen. We all know it. I'm just going to say it on the record. I refuse to entertain that stuff, right? I'm just a humble public servant just trying to do my job. I get FOIA requests here and there. If you've never done a FOIA request, it's terrible, by the way. It's terrible. But what are you going to do? It's part of the job, right? All I can do is try to get the information in a timely manner. When you have the same people foiling for the same thing, it takes time to get this information. That also includes all the other things that we do, right? And we're in the office 5 days a week. These other things take time. People ask us to go out into the community and do things. That takes time away from me being able to do a FOIA. Like, this is part of being a manager. I have to manage all these things. That's just part of the job. So I just ask people, be patient with the board office. We do a really good job. I'm going to boast a little bit. We do a good job. We do. We work very hard. Very proud of my team.
I agree. I agree. But with all due respect, the first several speakers were unified in their opposition to these towers.
Yes,
Dante, would you mind if I gave a less political response to Milford's question?
Thank you.
Yeah. So Milford, like what you saw today and what you may have seen in the past is the unseen presence of Alicia Boyd, who is a local community organizer whose comments were read on behalf. So there was organization behind what showed up today. Community organizing is a good thing. It gets powerful. Obviously, it gets its point across. And making Dante a focal point of, or Fred, who has often been the focal point of complaints from this particular body of community organizers, is a community organizing tactic. It's getting its desired result, which is that we're having a conversation about it. But let's also acknowledge that these concerns are valid. They're coming up in the community. None of us are researchers. None of us are doctors. We don't know what the impact of 5G towers are. The FDA has approved them along with some other bodies, and there are folks in the universe on the internet who are challenging whether they are in fact healthy for communities, which is a conversation that we should have. But if I could offer any guidance, Dante, Fred, just my suggestion would be two things. One, utilize us. Let us know how we can be of help to you in gathering the information. And two, let's get out in front of complaints. Let's give updates about the FOIA requests where we can. Let's acknowledge the work that is happening in the background so that we can date before the questions are asked. That would be my suggestion. Thank you.
I appreciate that. One of the reasons I joined the board was to look out for, have the illusion of making a difference, and I feel that I can make a difference in terms of improving this community and bringing us together. But I was really disturbed by this time after time after time of complaints about this project, and so I'm going to save my comments, my detailed comments for my community board. because as health and social services and I look forward to coming up with a solution that will that it won't please everybody, but I would like to come up with a solution or a breakthrough in thought that could satisfy a lot of the people. I mean, it's a scary thing to hear so many neighbors and citizens and fellow citizens, and some of them act as if they had approached us before in the past about this. And I know you Dante sent out material about the board, but I admit that I didn't see it, but I now want to be focused on this, and I mean no disrespect to anybody. I mean no disrespect to Fred or Dante or the other folks who are raising the issue of opposition, but I look forward to hitting the committee next week and see what we can do together. And so that will be my new business plug next week. I'm sorry if I took up too much time.
No, no worries, no worries. And this will definitely be something, there'll be additional information that's coming out. It's currently in the committee. So the committee is actually discussing this, and I'll talk a little bit about that in my chairman's report about the committees and the importance of that as well, to give that context. But just to continue on, Ms. Westerdahl, did you have a question for the DM?
Yes, I would like to know, we've been bringing up the issues with the 5G towers for months, since September. I've been asking about it, LaShawn, other people have been bringing it up. I've been working very hard to find out what's going on with the 5G towers, and it goes beyond the radiation effects. Those towers can fall over.
The question, please, what is the question?
The question is, when is Dante gonna, I asked Dante about this, what he was getting from the OTI and City Bridge back then. And I asked, I brought it up in the meeting, so did LaShawn, and it was basically brushed under the rug and ignored. And this is becoming a big ball that's rolling.
Ms. Westerdahl, question, what is the question?
When is Dante gonna, like Alicia Boyd had to give him a FOIL
question.
Ms. Westerdahl, can you please ask me the question so I can move on to the other board member who has a question? Thank you.
Where is the information coming, Dante? Where is it? Why couldn't you have produced it back in September so we didn't have to go through all this time and energy? Where is it? Where's the information? They were supposed to talk to us. That's what all the other community boards, that's what's happening with them.
Okay.
OTI,
The question is,
coming to them and talking to them.
Ms. Westerdahl, Ms. Westerdahl.
We're not getting that. Why? What happened?
Ms. Westerdahl, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You asked your question, district manager will answer.
Thank you. Well, the question, yes. When? So I answered the FOIL request and your request as well about this 5G information. Now, it's to my understanding that other people who received this information had botched links, which is something that I'm trying to figure out exactly why. We've also ran into this issue, if you've ever worked in a government office, you can only send a file of a certain size. So FOIL requests require a lot of paper, so the sizes are too big. So that's something that we've run into. That's just a technical issue that I never knew about. So once I'm able to get to it, then I will respond back to the FOIL with the information. Most likely I'll have to create a link to view the information, but I'm working on it. It just takes some time when you have 5 FOIL requests.
So were you contacted by OTI?
Okay. Okay, listen, Ms. Westerdahl, let me be very clear with this. The information that was requested, everything we got was provided. Now, my understanding is there might be some technical issues on the side in terms of people being able to read it, but the office has done the homework in terms of reviewing what we got and what responses were sent out. So that is something that was sent to the FOIL requester. I know I was CC'd on something that was sent to you, and it was forwarded to the committee chair as well. We will discuss those, and those are the things that can be discussed. If there's an issue with the links, those will be rectified and you'll get that information. But otherwise, this will go before the committee. In terms of the time frame, we are talking about something that spans over the better part of 2 years. So it's not as simple as, okay, we'll pull up everything that comes in there because we want to make sure we're responsive to everything. There's no grand conspiracy thing here. I don't make a dime off of these 5G towers. I sold my stock a long time ago, so I'm not making any money off of this. And I'm being tongue in cheek in case anybody believes that. But I just want to be very clear in terms of the district office responds, the district office gives the information, but the idea is for the committees to take it up from there and create the recommendation in terms of what they're determining to be the facts and what is it the action specifically that the board wants to take us to.
Other
So
boards
that's
are
the
being
next step for this.
presented with.
Okay, listen, we're
map.
not other boards. We are Brooklyn Community Board 9. We are
We're-
Brooklyn Community Board 9. Our process is the committee will discuss. Ms.
Mhm.
Westerdahl, your question's been asked and answered. We're going to move on. I see new member Twyla Ware, is that correct?
Yes, hi. My question was answered, but I just wanted to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Twyla Ware. I live in Prospect Lefferts Gardens. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I've attended a few community board meetings for the Fight for Sunlight a few years ago. And I'm very excited to be the youngest member, it seems, on the community board. And I look forward to learning and working. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Listen, thank you very much for stepping up and glad to have you on the board. And welcome and we're definitely looking forward to working together and to hopefully showing you a few things about civic government in terms of how we work. But absolutely welcome on board.
Brad, I'm
Okay,
back. I have a question if you don't mind.
Okay, but we need to be very quick. Please make your question very pointed to the district manager's report.
With respect to the building fires, I'm wondering how you know that there is a repair order out, because we also had 2 fires at 6 on Flatbush between Hawthorne and Fenimore, and no work has been done on one of them for an extremely long time, and the other one had a fire in December. No work has been done yet.
You have the addresses?
Yeah, can I send them to you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is it HPD that's putting out these repair orders, or?
DOB was the agency that informed me that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just if I can give some of the newer members some perspective, this 5G issue actually predates Dante, to be honest. I mean, we started asking when news of these first came out, and the plan was a little bit different then, we started asking DOITT for a town hall meeting. I think Beverly probably remembers this. And they brushed us off. They refused to come and talk to us. So I've been one of the people that's been pestering Dante for a while now. There's a 5G tower that popped up on Flatbush and Hawthorne right down the block from me, and my neighbors are not happy about this. It's blocking a police camera, yada, yada, yada. It's not the right place. But, if they're not giving him the information, he can't pass it along. So if you are foiling DOITT, that's probably, that's one place you could start. But, the other thing is, like, all of these things, when they come out, sometimes you don't realize what it is. Like, Dante sends out all of these street work advisories, and one of the street work advisories was from a company called Crown Castle, who was installing these over maybe I think on like Albany Avenue or something. So that one got notice. I think the one on Empire and Bedford, we didn't get notice. The one on Hawthorne and Flatbush, we didn't get notice. So it comes in different ways. And if you're kind of not watching everything, you don't know. So that's, just a little piece of advice. Watch the street work notices. But Dante doesn't get all the street work notices, as he's told me many times. he doesn't get all those notices about street closures and no parking, and which, we all have experience with. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. All right, I think that concludes the report of the district manager. Thank you very much, Mr. Arnwine. And again, I just wanted to recognize you and your team and the hard work that you do for this district. And you are very much appreciated.
Oh,
Okay,
and the last
we are-
thing to all the new board members is if I make a mistake, I will own up to it, by the way. That's just the way that I was raised. That's all.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So at this time, we are now going to go to the report of the chair. There are a lot of items that have been mentioned and discussed through the district manager's report or reported in the committee report. So I'm going to try and keep it very brief this evening so we can move on. But again, I think we're going to start my report the same way I started this meeting. First of all, welcome to all the new members. We are very, very happy to have you aboard. I think this might be the strongest the board has ever been in terms of I've never seen anything close to 50 members. And we are coming in about 49. In today's meeting, we have 42 present. That's phenomenal. All I ask is that you just continue, keep that fire, you come in. The meetings aren't always fun, but remember the reason why we do this is because we care about our district, we care about our community. And again, we don't always necessarily see eye to eye, but I think it's through the conversations we have, I think we get a better appreciation of the other side. And we work together to try and come up with the best solutions in the interest of our district. Definitely I understand that you're getting somewhat of a initiation by fire at this point, because I think you've barely been in for a week or been given your notice for a week. But there are going to be a number of activities that are coming up between your swearing in formally at Borough Hall, but we're also going to try and supplement with training sessions on this side. So that way, hopefully we can help you learn as quickly as possible how to navigate, give you some background about the board, some of the issues, some of the ways in which we work as a board as well, between parliamentary procedure, between how we conduct our meetings, about the rules of order, and so on and so forth. But absolutely, I think we have time to do that, and we're looking forward to working together. I did want to touch on something that was actually brought up last month with regards to the street closures. There was definitely an issue with regards to the amount of notice that was provided from the applicant who was running the events. So I want to say thank you to the district manager in terms of we've opened conversations with different organizations such as the New York Roadrunners and a number of different agencies as well, where I think part of the issue is we need to have better channels of communication in terms of how we do this. This is definitely something that impacts our community. We have people who work nights. We have people who rely on their cars, who can't afford to park 5-6 blocks away. Who really it's an inconvenience to find their cars towed at any given particular time. So we definitely want to make sure that we're having conversations in terms of how, one, we get notice out, but two, how do we minimize the impacts on the district? So I'm very happy to say that some of the initial conversations are going very well. And I think that we're starting to see some dividends in terms of the communications, but we're definitely going to continue in terms of finding ways to minimize the impacts or to mitigate those as much as possible for the community. And that'll be an ongoing conversation. I do want to talk very briefly about a community fair. The community fair is something that I think is a very, very great activity that we've done. It was last year was our inaugural year. I think it was phenomenal. It's an opportunity for us to get together as board members, along with the residents, and just enjoy each other's company in the fresh air, as well as get to know a number of the vendors and people who provide services and resources in the district. It was a phenomenal time had last year. So we are currently scheduled to have that on June 3rd. The district office is working on that, and we will be getting additional information as things are finalized as well. But absolutely looking forward to people coming out and being able to participate and support in whatever ways possible. It's great. It really helps to build the community in that. Additionally, I want to talk about the committees. This is something that's been mentioned very briefly, but I want to underscore it at this time in terms of with the way we operate as a board, and you'll see there are a lot of things that we refer to the committees. As a board of 49 people, it's very difficult for us to say that once a month, we're going to get 49 of us to discuss 10 or 15 different issues, which is the reason why logistically we work things through committees. Committees, we break into teams. Those teams are responsible for looking at the issues, developing solutions, asking the questions, getting the information, and then from there, they promote that to the board. So we don't have to do the legwork the fourth Tuesdays of the month. Hopefully that legwork has been done by the committees, and we'll have the information we have. And it should be something where it's like we're just balancing between that. There'll be some debate. We may still have questions, but the idea being that most of that legwork and the facts are established before. So I just say that to say that, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to every one of you joining committees, asking these questions, asking for the information that needs to be had, because that's how we're going to get ahead. That's how we work smarter as a board, and that's how we get things done in the interest of this district. So definitely look out for that. That'll be a process we'll discuss as well in terms of those committee assignments. Let me go on to these two things. You're coming in at a very interesting time as well, because as you're coming in, we are actually entering into our election cycle. So our election cycle per our bylaws starts in April, where we impanel a nomination committee. The nomination committee will then contact the members of the board. They'll set up the rules for the elections, and they'll get additional candidates. They'll identify candidates for the May meeting. At the May meeting, additional people have an opportunity to submit their names for consideration. And in June, we actually have our elections. So we have 7 board officer positions. We have the chair, we have a first and second vice chair, we have an executive secretary, we have a treasurer, and we have 2 members at large. All those positions run annually. So all those seats are up. For the new members, you would be barred for running for officers for this cycle, because you have to be in office for at least, on the board for at least 1 year. But we definitely want to get you up to speed in terms of the operations. And you know, this is the opportunity to ask questions too, to learn about the board and how things get done. So there'll be additional information, and we'll be impaneling that committee this evening. Last point about that, we are also in the process of electing an interim treasurer, which is a little bit curious as well, because we had a vacancy. Our last treasurer recently had to vacate his position in March. So we are having an expedited election scheduled for this evening, actually, where we are going to be electing an interim treasurer who will serve for 2 months and we will have our formal elections to elect an officer for a year in June. So that's going to be coming up shortly as well. Okay, yeah, I think many of the other items have probably been covered in other reports. So I will conclude on that. We have 3 action items, if anything. We are scheduled to do the interim elections right after this. Plus we have 2 voting items, which are the mental health form, which is scheduled for May 4th. And we also have our, SLA application for Brewitt that we'll be voting on right after this as well. Okay, so at this time, I will entertain questions. All right, please use the raise hand function and we'll create a speakers list and we'll take your questions. No question. Oh, Mr. Pruitt, I got you.
What is the issue unresolved as it relates to the mental health symposium? You said
We just need to vote on it as a board. Right. All those events, all events that are initiated or approved by the committees have to get approved by the board, because anytime we do that, it has to be a board approved function. So it was approved by the committee. Right. So it was approved by the committee. The executive committee last week voted on that and approved for it to come to the board. So all we need to do is just formally approve it as a board and the event happens.
Okay, all right. It's cute.
Bishop Gonzalez, I see you. Bishop Gonzalez, you had a question?
I don't have a question, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to welcome the new members and to thank Dante and the office for all the work that is being done. And just to say to our fellow members, we should not let fear overtake our respect for each other, for we are all volunteering our time for a better community, a better future, and a better us. So we need to be a little bit nicer and a little bit more concerned about others' feeling rather than just shooting as if we are all supposed to be just doing what is supposed to be done, and there should be no inches between it. We don't operate like that. We don't run everything. But I think we're doing a tremendous job. We want to be safe. We want to be healthy. But above all, we need to be respectful to each other. That's all I want to say. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I
Thank
agree.
you, Bishop Gonzalez. Thank you, Bishop Gonzalez. Okay, Ms. Moses.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, I've been on this on the board for quite some years now. But I wanted to say that in terms of the district office, we had no one for some years. It was all broke down and just totally out of whack. So we do have, you know, Dante and the crew now, and they're trying to bring it together. So it takes some time. It doesn't take away that we can still answer questions, but we have to recognize that they can't do it overnight. And I also wanted to just say that as a board, we are an advisory committee, but I don't understand why people are leaving out the Brooklyn Borough President's office, and especially elected officials. Those are the people that gets things moving forward. And I don't understand why all the complaints are coming through the community board, and rightfully so. Well, what about the people that we elected? So that's all I have to say. Thank you. And again, although I do bring up tough questions to the district office, I do recognize that it's not easy. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very
you.
much for that, Ms. Moses.
Mhm.
Okay, I see our second vice chair, Francisco Leopold.
Hi, good night, everyone. I just want to introduce myself to the new members. Welcome. My name is Francisco Leopold, second vice chair and chair for the Health and Social Services. Just want to say to you, stones will be thrown, rocks will be pelted, persons will cut down trees, but don't let it affect you. Dash away from everything or the negativity. We are all there to do one thing. We have the interests of the community at heart, and that is what we are there for. We didn't just come, we are not here to try to shoot down each other, but then to lift up each other, and together, as we band together, we can get the job going for the community. So welcome, and I'm looking forward to some of you to join the Health and Social Services, as we have much work to do for our seniors and for the community. Welcome again.
Thank you, second vice chair Leopold. We have our member at large, Mr. Nicholas Almanor.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. I'm very happy to see we get so many board members. My mention now that the CB9 fair is 4 weeks away. There's a lot of work that has to be done. I'm glad we're getting reinforcement. So I'll suggest that we we'll get started working as much as possible. I want to welcome all the new members, especially having a sophomore from high school. So that's the thing I've been looking forward in that board to get that the young people in there. The more we could get, the better. We want to get all the perspective to have there. I work with that community for most of my years, and I'm looking forward to do a lot of work. And I want to remind everybody it's 4 weeks away. There's a lot of work to be done to get that fair where we want it to be. Okay. And there should be a flyer with the date, and then that's coming up with this e-blast, and hopefully let's go to work most of the week. So please contact me, because a lot of ideas swelling in my head how I want this particular fair to be. So welcome again. Looking forward to work with everybody, especially the new members.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, all right. Whoa, I think I got away with no questions. All right, I'll take it. All right, I do have one item we need to do in terms of business. So we need to impanel the nominations committee at this time. So at this time, I will take volunteers. We need 5 members of the committee to be appointed. I will do that. Are there any
Point of
volunteers? who wish to serve?
clarification, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Yes.
Are we voting tonight? Oh, nomination for next, you're saying for next?
This is for the nominations committee, to impanel the nominations committee. Correct, yes.
You're talking about for the next cycle of executive
Correct, to
elections,
run the next cycle.
not the replacement to the treasurer.
Right, not the replacement.
Could be
This is
appointed.
for the nominations committee, who will conduct the process of identifying members. Okay, do we have volunteers?
I'll volunteer.
Right, Mr. Pruitt, thank you very much.
It's not a lot of
Right.
work. You send out a couple of emails. We have the language.
Right, and I want you, and this is one of
It's
those
not
where I
a,
think,
it's not a little bit of work for those, as someone who's served on the nominations committee, all it takes is some goodwill and some organizing.
Point of information, can the new members volunteer?
they can, absolutely.
Excuse me, my better half overheard what I volunteered for, and given I have a certain health issue I gotta deal with, I'm gonna have to decline my nomination.
You got vetoed.
Reverse it. I'm sorry.
No worries, sir.
Fred, can you tell me a little bit about the period of time that we need to do this? Like
Right,
when
so
the
the-
nominations need to happen?
So the time frame that's going to happen is once the nominations committee is impaneled, basically you're going to give a report. There's going to be a canvas period. And the earlier you can meet and set up your committee is the better. You'll have a canvas period where you'll do an outreach to the board. The outreach can very likely be an email. Just make sure everybody gets an email and everybody responds. Whoever doesn't respond, you make some phone calls. And then at the May meeting, you'll give a report in terms of who has actually been nominated for each of the positions. At that point, you're just going to open the floor. You'll accept nominations from the floor for anybody who wants to run from the floor. And that concludes the May meeting. In the June meeting, the district office will actually be more of assistance with that because they'll help you actually create the ballots by which we conduct the elections. So a little bit of work on the first couple of meetings, but I will sit with you in terms of the first one, helping you get you structured, help you getting a chair. At that point, you'll divide up the labor. And again, you'll have assistance from the district office as well. So you're going to be supported throughout this entire thing.
Understood. So now through June, through the end of June.
Correct.
Got it. I'm a glutton for punishment. Sign me up again. I'm happy to do this. I would love to have some other competent folks join us. New members, if you want to get on board, I promise to give you all the insight to CB9. So,
and I would say for the new members especially, that's a guy you want to learn from right there. Did a very great job for us as a chair for nominations committee. Anyone else? Mr. Scott, I see your hand up.
I'll also join.
All right,
Love
Mr.
it.
Scott,
Thanks,
welcome
Omari.
aboard. Thank you very much.
I will join as well. John Wolfling.
Mr.
I was there
John.
last time.
Welcome. Excellent. Thank you, John.
Don't go too fast. I'm writing names. John, did I hear John Jr.?
John Wolfling. Ms. Basil Charles, I thought I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I would like to join as well.
Janelle
Yes.
and
Omari.
Felice. I see Felice
Right.
has up.
Right.
Felice?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That
Okay.
makes 5.
All right, so we
Yeah,
have
we
the
got 5.
members.
Mhm.
Okay, all right then. So the
Thank
members
you,
of the
everybody.
nominations committee, thank you very much. Absolutely. Primo,
Thank you
for-
all.
for stepping up for this. Also, thank you to Mr. Scott, Mr. Wolfling, Ms. Basil Charles, and Ms. Robertson. Okay, so after this, we will send a communication out just to get it scheduled. I think the benefit is if you meet earlier, it really makes it a little bit easier in terms of getting the communications out and getting it together. But thank you again. So those names that we've said, Primo Lasana, Omari Scott, John Wolfling, Janelle Basil Charles, and Felice Robertson will comprise of our nominations committee for the year 2023. I thank you all for your service and we will be in touch. Okay, moving on in the agenda, we have an actual election that we are going to be conducting this evening. This is a special election for the treasurer. As I had mentioned before, in March, our treasurer had to resign due to a work conflict. So by our bylaws, we are required to fill that vacancy. At last month's meeting, we voted to do an expedited election where anyone who wished to be nominated would submit their nomination by the 15th of April. The district office has received the nominations. If I could ask the district manager at this time, who has submitted their names for nomination at this time?
The only person that submitted their name for nomination was board member Mina Lagu.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I think you broke up a little bit.
Mina was the only board member who submitted their name for nomination. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you say Mina
We
Lagute.
can, we can hear you. Mina Lagute.
Thanks, Dante.
Who's an excellent choice.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
All right, so my understanding is Minor Lagut is currently the only the nomination for the office. All right, Ms. Lagut. Are you there? Is Minor there?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes, we can hear you. All right, so you are nominated. You accept the nomination?
You're back on mute, Mina. Just come off and accept.
Yeah, Minor, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. Look, I'm here. Yes. I'm joyously
Okay.
here.
Thank you very much. All right, I'll tell you what, at this time, if possible, would you just like to give a few quick remarks for the board in terms of your experience on the board and you know, any remarks you'd like to make about the position?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Mina Lagut. I've been on the board for almost 2 years. My term ended and the new term has just begun. I'm looking forward to helping out temporarily as the treasurer. I'm not, well, from what I can tell, we just have to work with each other to figure out what information needs to be disseminated and how to put things together. But I think it'll work out fine. Right, Fred?
It'll work great. It'll work great. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for stepping
Excuse me.
forward for, you know, oh, no, absolutely. Thank you very much for stepping forward. Okay, as we have one nominee at this time, as one nominee for this at this time, I will entertain a motion to close the nomination. Do we have unanimous consent on the part of the members who are there here at this time to elect Mina Lagut as interim treasurer? Is there any objection to unanimous?
So moved, no objection.
Objection.
Fred, point of clarification, is there do we have to word that motion differently because of our bylaws that require a paper ballots?
Yeah.
Votes? Maybe.
Right, well, that's the thing. So if we're doing this by unanimous consent, that all members present basically are casting one ballot.
Okay, so you're saying there's no need for a paper ballot, all right?
Correct. So we don't need to send that. It's going to be noted as all members voted in favor. Okay. All right. So yeah. So is there any objection to unanimous consent to elect by for the election of Mina Lagut as interim treasurer? Any objection? Okay. I hear none.
I see
Ms. Moses have her hand up.
Ms.
No,
Moses, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't have an objection. I just want to know where we're gonna do it by roll call so that the vote is like, or we're just gonna say yay like that, or can we do it individually so that it counts?
Well, the only thing is if it's by unanimous consent, that means that nobody objects, that everybody present voted yes. It's a
We
yes,
don't even
it's a
know
yes,
who's
it's recorded
present.
as a yes for everyone.
I think we should do a roll call.
Yeah, I
Mr.
don't know
Chair.
who's present.
I don't think we could do a roll call based, because I think once you get into a roll call, you have to do a paper ballots. Becomes
No, you don't have to
complicated.
do a paper. We can just same way we vote on everything else.
Oh, but the
Yes.
bylaws are specific when it comes to elections. It should be by paper ballot,
Okay.
if I remember
Well,
correctly.
here's the
That's
thing.
not
Here's
true.
the thing.
What is the
Okay,
bylaw?
okay, no, listen. So
bylaw.
let's do this.
Let's
So
follow
if
the
Ms.
bylaw.
Moses if Ms. Moses is calling for the roll call vote, that means we don't have unanimous consent, or at least on the voting method. So let's, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll?
Yes, I can. Maria Costa,
Present.
Kyrie
So
Allen,
if you,
Kyrie Allen,
Are you doing a roll call or are you just doing a call for those? How are you doing?
No, I wanted to call for who's saying yes and who's saying no.
Yeah, that's what
you want
it
a vote,
is.
a vote.
So maybe I
Okay.
said the wrong thing.
Vote.
Right, okay. All right, let's,
Vote by
right,
attendance.
so a vote yes is in favor to elect
Mhm.
Mina Lagut as interim treasurer.
Right. Ready? Maria Acosta,
My vote is yes.
Kyrie Allen, Nicholas Almanar,
Yes.
Fred Baptiste,
I vote yes.
Janelle Bazil-Chaz,
I vote yes.
Jakob Berman, Rabbi Jakob Berman,
Please get back to me.
okay. Warren Burke, Alita Bess,
Yes.
Augustine Blackwell,
Yes.
Celeste Chase,
Yes.
Suki Chong,
Yes.
Matt Cohen,
Yes.
Eva Shaba Cohen, Eve,
I do not know. I'm sure she's a wonderful, wonderful person. I do not know her. So is it possible for me to just abstain? Because I just don't even know.
Yes, you can
yes,
abstain.
you can,
Yes,
yes,
you
you
can
can,
abstain.
yes. Jimmy Epstein,
Yes.
Candace Edwards,
Yes.
Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez,
Yes.
Rod Herbert, Yusuf, Rod Herbert, Yusuf Herkov, Renisa Leberet,
Yes.
thank you. Primo Lozana,
Yes.
Mena Lagote, Mina Lagote,
You're muted.
Yes. Yes.
thank you. Israel Leher, Israel, okay, come back. Francisca Leopold,
Yes.
Courtney Lazelle,
Yes.
Letwain Mavana,
Yes.
Aaron Mazursky,
Yes.
Latoya McGee, Zati Muskin,
Yes.
thank you. Miss Moses,
Yes.
Beverly Newsom,
Yes.
Ethan Narville, sorry.
Yes.
Yankee Pearson, Mr. Pewitt,
Yes.
Unella Romperi,
Yes.
Dexter Roberts,
Yes.
Felice Robertson,
Yes.
Benyomi Rosenberger, Dwayne Saab,
Yes.
Omari Scott,
Yes.
Debbie Timothy,
Yes.
one minute. Tyler Weir,
Yes.
Linda Watson Lord, yes. Miss Teresa Westerdahl,
I'm voting yes, but I'd also like to ask a question about the process.
okay, in a minute after I finish.
Okay.
John Wolfling,
Yep. Voting yes.
thank you. Larianne Wosley. Hold 1 minute. Let me add it to, why is Miss Westerdahl ask her questions? Mr. Chair. Hold on,
Sure,
let me go back over, there are too few people. Kyrie Ali? Kyrie, okay, Kyrie's not there. Warren Burke? Rabbi Yaakov Berman? You said
Yes,
it?
so,
Okay, thank you.
wait, I didn't say yes. Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
you-
just wanted, I wanted to read the bylaws. So I want to be clear, I have no objection to the secretary, the treasurer serving as treasurer. I think that the exec committee or the board are empowered in special circumstances like this to appoint such a treasurer, but I do object to the voting process based on the bylaws, which clearly state it has to be by a signed paper ballot. So therefore, I'm going to abstain because I don't think the process is proper, even though I have no objection to the outcome. So I abstain.
Thank you.
And if Fred wants to address that, he's welcome to, but please note that for the record.
Thank you, I forgot that. Okay.
Joseph Hirschkopf
Is-
is actually in the attendees. If we can promote him.
Who?
Joseph Hirschkopf,
Right, that's what I was looking.
yeah, he's in the attendees. If we can promote him and he can, yes.
Is he in yet?
Yeah, give him 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry, you hear me now? You hear me?
Yes, I can. What's your
Yeah,
vote?
hi. Abstain, just like Yakov. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay. Well, those people were absent from the meeting. All right.
Just as a, are there any board members who did not hear their name called? All right, just checking. While you're doing that, Ms. Westerdahl, I know you said you had a question before. What was your question?
Yeah, I was wondering about the bylaws as well, but also I'm wondering, we're gonna vote again for the executive board. And will the same person, the same people be rerunning, or will this person?
That's
serve the
what the
direction?
process.
I'm just,
That's
I'm
what
just-
the process.
I'm not sure, is this like a 1 month term?
2 months.
2 months.
So 2 months, and then in 2 months, we're gonna vote again?
That's correct.
And are people gonna present bios then? Because
That's what we did last time. That's going to be up to
Yeah,
the
that was-
nominations committee.
that
Um,
was really super helpful to read a bio.
Mhm.
When somebody's gonna serve a position when I'm voting, I wanna know who.
we can do that again. Thank you for the suggestion, Teresa.
You.
Madam Secretary, what is
Oh,
the count?
Oh, 1 minute.
Sure. I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on, something. All right, the vote. 33 for, 4 abstentions, and there were 13 people absent since I took the roll.
All right, 33 in favor,
Yeah.
that constitutes a majority. So Mina Lagut, you are now our interim treasurer for the next 2 months. Thank you
Right.
so very much for stepping up. Looking forward to working with you.
Welcome, Maya.
Thanks, Maya.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations.
We've got a couple more items to go through. We're gonna try and do those as aggressively as possible. So we have 2 voting items now at this time. First one is the Mental Health Forum. So this is an event that was actually approved by the Health and Social Services Committee. It was presented before the Executive Committee last week, who approved that it should come before the board, and the recommendation is to approve this event and support this event scheduled for May 4th. At this time, do we have the Chair of Health and Social Services, Fran? Do you wish to say a couple of words about the event?
Yes, good evening again, everyone. The Mental Health Forum will take place May 4th, which is next week, Thursday. We have speakers from the DA's office, 1 doctor from Interfaith, and 1 doctor from Behavioral Health Division at Kings County Hospital. So they'll be bringing awareness. The doctor from Interfaith will more or less be addressing the Caribbean community, the Black community, because when it comes to mental health, the most times a lot of our people, they just kind of take it and you just sweep it under the carpet. So we're just bringing awareness to persons as to what to look for in the children, the changes that even the grown-ups in the home, what signs to look for, and letting them know that the importance that because you may sit talk to a therapist or somebody, that doesn't means that you're crazy, you know, but then also in children and then the pattern in school as things changes in school. So one doctor from the Interfaith, that is the area that she really works with the community. And then the other person from Kings County Hospital will be talking about the different resources and programs and what they bring, the services that they have at the hospital. And we also have someone from
Right time. You want me to bring that
the
to you?
DA's office.
You ain't
who
never
will
ready.
Continue.
From the DA's office who will also be addressing us as well. So I'm just asking that it's on Zoom so persons can log in from wherever they are. After the vote tonight, if it's passed, then the board office will be sending out the flyer. So just send out the flyer to persons that you know, and please invite persons to come in and to get such important information that it will be valuable for us, our family, our friends, and our neighbors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, at this time, we will entertain a motion to approve the event, the Mental Health Forum event scheduled for May 4th. Do I have a motion?
I move. So move.
Moved by Nicholas Allen. Do we have a second?
Felice Robertson.
Seconded by Felice Robertson. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions with regards to the event? Okay, please use the raise hand.
What time is, sorry, what time is the event?
7 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions for regarding the motion on the floor? Okay, hearing none, we're going to call the question.
Move for unanimous consent.
Seconded. Thank you,
I
Nicholas.
hear a call for common consent. Are there any objections? Call for a second time. Are there any objections to common consent? Okay, hearing none, the motion is adopted by common consent. Madam Secretary, please put a yes for all those members present. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, we are now going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the SLA application for Gruitt.
Great, thank you. I'll take a moment just to address Jakob's previous question. And Jakob, just so you know, we sent the notice through the community board office, both to the business owner as well as the tenants 8 days in advance. The business owner confirmed their attendance and they did not show up. And in terms of noise measurement, I don't know. I don't know how to measure noise in decibels. I don't measure in decibels. I measure in community outreach and complaints. And so I believe that's our job. So moving on to Gruitt, we fully, the Public Safety Committee fully supports this application. If there are any questions, is it helpful for me to run you through the details of the application really quickly again? You want that? Just throw me a thumbs up if you're good.
We're good. We already heard it now.
Just vote, please. Please vote.
You want to vote, Teresa?
Yeah, so let's do this.
Okay.
Let's put the motion on the
Sounds
floor.
good.
If there's any questions, we'll do it as part of the debate. So I'll entertain a motion, a motion to adopt the recommendation of the committee of the Public Safety Committee to approve the renewal of the SLA license for.
I move to approve, Jacob.
I would like to say that having been there a few times,
Hold on, before you do that, it's moved. Moved by Jacob Berman. Do I have a
Moved by
second?
by Rabbi,
Teresa.
And who's and
Second by
Minor Lagoon?
Teresa.
and second by
Teresa.
Teresa. Thank you, Ms. Westerdahl.
Okay, moved and seconded. We will take questions. Questions comments very briefly if you got them. Very, very brief.
All right, I make a good comment.
Very brief. Go.
I've been there several times as part of my previous position as a reporter and the journalism writer in the food service business, and they are a fresh of breath there. They're a breath of
Breath of fresh air.
And I support this application, though I was not involved in it, the planning or the positioning of it or anything, but I just think that this is a great restaurant, and it's a lot of people don't know about Jewish cuisine, and they have some very good offers on the menu that you know, to the degree that a restaurant can bring people together. I think this is it, and it's really cool. So anyway, that's my comment.
Thank you, Milford.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pruitt. All right, are there any other questions?
I forgot what's the address? I forgot the address there.
It's on the corner of Empire and Rogers.
Correct.
The old Toomey's restaurant.
250, right, 252 Empire Boulevard, Miss Williams. I'm sorry, is it all breakfast place?
I'm sorry, Empire and Rogers. It used to be that soul food restaurant.
Oh, okay, got you.
Toomey's, the Dodgers, the famous Dodgers diner.
Okay, got it.
It's been there since, I think, the 20s or something, 40s.
Yeah, I wasn't born, but I hear you.
I'm just gonna jump in. It's most famous for the Dodgers celebrating, I think, in 1956, one of the World Series wins there. So
Yes, wonderful. I'm so happy.
Location.
So happy that you developed that and it's a restaurant now.
So I hope we're also happy that we can vote now. Are
We're
we ready for the question?
My man, Fred. Let's go.
You ready for the question? All right. Well, let me ask this. Do we have comments? Do we have common consent? Is there
Yeah.
anyone who objects to common consent?
No.
Yeah, I'll call for a second time. Is there anyone who objects to adopting the motion by common consent? Okay, hearing none. Madam Secretary, please note for the record that the motion was approved by the board by common consent.
Noted, sir.
Members voting in favor. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, all right. That concludes our voting items. We have impaneled our nominations committee. At this time, there is no old business on the floor at this time to be taken from the table. Is there any new business for the board at this time?
Yeah, I want to talk about the resolution for the 5G towers, the moratorium, please.
You have the floor.
That's me.
Okay, can I make a motion? Whereas CB9 residents have health, safety, and aesthetic concerns about 5G towers, therefore be it resolved that a temporary 45-day moratorium be placed on the planning, construction, and deployment of all future 5G tower link 5G infrastructure. Give us a chance to go over everything, put a moratorium, please. I have a much longer one, but this is a short one we could do until the EP has time to go over it, and maybe Pruitt's committee, please. Can I get a?
Fred and Don, thank you, Teresa. Would you just mind if I asked like 2 clarifying questions really quickly that maybe could help us get
We'll
there
technically,
quicker?
let's do this. I mean, because if it's something, if the board wants to consider her motion right now, if she gets a second, we can do that, and you can bring up your points during that discussion. But before that, is there any other member who seconds this motion?
Teresa, would you just mind if I ask these 2 questions? I think we'll get a little bit further.
Sure.
Just to the board. Yeah. Thanks, Teresa. Suki, I see you have your hand up.
Suki has her hand up.
Is there a second? Do we have a
I
second?
second.
All right, we have a second by Suki Chan.
Mr. Chair, before we go in, could I get Ms. Vesterdahl send me the motion by writing? Because tell the truth, I really does not have correct. I'm listening, but she's going so fast. And for this, I want exactly what Ms. Vesterdahl want.
Okay.
Can we do this by the book, please, with discussion and hands raised, and so keep it on
Understood,
point?
but before we do that, let's just to the point, the secretary's point, let's clarify the motion. So Ms. Westerdahl, you are asking for a moratorium.
Motion, whereas CB9 residents have health, safety, and aesthetic concerns about Link 5G. Therefore, be it resolved that a temporary 45-day moratorium be placed on the planning, construction, and deployment of all future Link 5G infrastructure. That's it. I just made, I just have this quick one. So if we could do this until we can discuss it, please.
That's part of that's going to be part of the conversation. So in essence, you're asking for a moratorium, a 45-day moratorium, so that way the board can discuss the issue.
Yeah, we can make it longer if you want.
No, I think that what we want to do is, if you're asking for a moratorium for 45 days, that's fine. Explain your motion why you're doing it. But this is part of the challenge, in terms of, this is the reason why we usually ask for these things in advance in writing, so that way it's explained fully. So
Well, I did, there was a much longer moratorium.
right, but it wasn't presented to the board
resolution.
prior, and that's the challenge we're facing right now. But
This
we're
was
gonna,
a quick one. We've done this before.
right, no, okay, but no, what I'm saying is, we're gonna consider this. Your motion is on the floor. As the maker of the motion, you do have a right to speak first. If there's anyone who wishes to discuss the motion, please use the raise hand function, and we will allow you to speak. Ms. Westerdahl, you will go first. I know Primo, you had comments. Rabbi Berman, I see you after that.
Yeah, I would just like to have this quick moratorium placed on the 5G towers until we can examine it a little further and go over this other much longer resolution in the EP committee, and then we can bring it forward in the next meeting. Give Debbie, Timothy, my chair, and I don't know if we have any new members. And the bishop is in my committee, and Christina, I don't know if we have any new members, but we can go over it and then we could vote and move it forward. Should be pretty easy now that they all have it. So it's just to put a temporary moratorium on the 5G tower building, so everybody can look at this. We can address our community's health and safety concerns. And I'm more concerned about the privacy issues and the data harvesting. And also, if I don't know if you've seen them, but they're very big and top heavy. And I could see a truck hitting that one on Empire and it falling right over on somebody, and they can ignite. The distance that they can be from a building there's no regulation on it.
Okay, Ms. Westerdahl, I think that there's some points that you're going into that are probably part of the
Oh, I'm
resolution.
sorry. I'm just trying to make my point as to why we should just put a moratorium on them. Many other community boards have done this. I've been to other community board meetings to see the process, and to work on, our resolution. So if everybody could please read the longer one and help me with that, I would be most happy.
You're asking for the shorter one, right?
Well, we're just doing the shorter one now, and then we're gonna go over it in EP, but this is just a short one, the one that I read, just like
All right.
a few sentences.
Okay, Primo, go ahead, you had.
Fred, my question is for you, and then I have a thought afterwards, but I don't think we're going to get much further until we get the question answered. What does a moratorium do? What does it mean? And what will its impact be?
And I think that my answer to the question, I'm not sure, is it for Teresa or for me?
I mean, I think I'm directing it to you because I want to understand if we actually have any power in this situation. And then, I mean, we could also go to Teresa and see what her understanding of a moratorium is. I don't understand what a moratorium is, other than usually it just removes discussion in the context that we've had before.
To the point where I think us requesting a moratorium is just really formally a request to, I guess, the city agency to halt whatever progress they're doing, stop construction, whatever else, on the basis that we're looking into the issue.
What city agency?
I'm assuming this is
DOITT,
because I believe they're the one. Yeah, OTI. Just for everyone's knowledge, DoIT was formerly the Department of Information Technology and Telecommunications. The name changed as of, I think, last year. So it's now referred to as OTI. So if you hear DoIT or OTI, it's the same thing. So it's the Office of Technology Information, same thing. The letter would go, I'm assuming, to OTI, asking them to saying that we want to take a moratorium. It's advisory is the most I could say about that at the very least.
So in effect, what we're voting on is sending a letter from the board office to ask for the halting of the installation of towers in our neighborhood for 45 days.
In essence, yeah.
Great. Thank you. That's the clarity that I needed. My suggestion, this is Teresa's committee. I was going to say we might as well send the moratorium stating until somebody comes to the meeting. If we want to actually have a conversation with OTI or DOITT or whoever it is, and they've been ignoring us for a long time, then I don't see why we would only need 45 days. If we want them to attend a meeting, then we should say we won't be allowing anything to happen until we're able to speak directly with you. That's a suggestion, but Teresa, it's your committee, it's your motion. But
Oh, yeah, we could do that. We could change it to,
Okay. Well,
There's a process.
yeah. Go ahead, Rabbi Berman. I see you. Go ahead.
Yes, so thank
I
you very
think
much.
I was next.
I
think I was
should I
next.
go?
Listen, the only thing I have to say is that I think that when we have the motion on the floor, it was a little mumble jumble to me. And I think that if she wants us to vote on something, I think whatever she's saying should be very, very clear. She wants us to say we're going to vote temporarily, then come back and vote again. No, what are you saying? That's all I want to know. Whatever it is that she wants us to vote on, and I heard what Primo said, which makes a lot of sense. I would have voted on that. But she's going to a long story for us to vote on something that she's going to come back with another whole long story. Why? Whatever it is that you want us to vote on, then say it. Not unless you need some advice on what we have to vote on. And that's all I gotta say. Let's listen. Whatever the motion is, let's vote on it. Her motion was not clear. It was jumbled to me.
All right. Well, if I may, and we'll pick up the speakers list. The only concern I have with this is that it's really kind of contrary to the process that we have. It's currently in committee. And the whole point of the committee is that they're supposed to be vetting all these things in terms of if we're asking for a moratorium, not a problem. The challenge I have is the why. What is the why? Why are we asking for a moratorium? Is it because we've determined that 5G towers do this? Is it because we've said that there's been violations of this? Those are the things that should go in there, because otherwise, ultimately, and to be frank, we're wasting paper or email.
well,
or whatever.
we're asking for a
I
moratorium.
believe, Mr. Chair, I believe I was next. Can I ask my question?
Yeah, I'm done with my point. Go ahead.
My reservation is also is that there are, I was involved in the board office. We actually had a conference call with the city about this, and there seems to be several types of towers. There's the towers that go up with the screens. There's the long, tall towers, and there's also, the board got notice, I don't remember, in the last few weeks about a 5G going up on Carroll between Kingston and Albany. And when we met with the city, they committed to us, I don't remember if it was 40 days or 60 days, but they're going to give the board notice before any more towers go up. Maybe Dante could speak to that. When they reached out to the city and said, you said you're going to give the board notice. The response was, those are the towers, the new towers, which we have to give the board notice. But the towers, what we're putting, the 5G we're putting up is a separate department. It's only cellular service without the Wi-Fi, without the other service. And that really we have no control over, because how it's regulated, it's a federal, whatever, the cell phone companies apply directly and put it up. So I guess my question is, if Dante can clarify, didn't the city commit that they're not going to put up more towers without giving the board time to comment? And in terms of the motion, I would limit the motion to the specific towers that are new towers or screens and not just 5G in general, which I don't think the city has control over.
Yeah.
If T-Mobile, Dante, clarify. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. So from my recollection of that conversation, I believe that they had said that there were no active projects scheduled Community District 9. There was no guarantee, no promise that ones wouldn't come up down the road. But at this very time, there weren't active projects that were at least scheduled or close
They
to the
told us
pipe.
to give us notice, and a time
They
to
definitely said that
respond.
they would give notice.
We're not getting any notice. They're just going up.
No, but since that meeting, I don't think anything went up.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right, listen, we need to continue on. We need to continue on. We need to respect the speakers list. Mr. Norville, I see you. I see the chair, Debbie Timothy. Suki, I see you after that. Go ahead, Mr. Norville.
Hi, I am Ethan Norville. I'm a new member. And I've heard a lot of concerns today about the 5G towers. It's like one of the, stars of the show of this meeting so far. And I work in technology. I work in advertising as well. I work in a lot of digital fields. I've had a lot of deep, close involvement in the research behind 5G, as well as things like data usage, data harvesting, and I own a business that actually runs based around social media and around marketing and that kind of thing. So I have a lot of, in-depth knowledge on this topic. And I just want to let you guys know that if there's anything that I can, offer a perspective on, it would probably be an issue like this. But I'm just getting some more context right now, so I can offer a little more information maybe a little later.
Could you come to the EP meeting and join the committee, please?
Yeah, sure, I can come.
Thank you.
You see the EP chair, Environmental Protection Chair, Debbie Timothy.
Good evening. Thank you all. So I've been listening for the last 2 hours or more about, everything that's been going on and being said. There is a committee in place, and I think it's very disrespectful that, the committee is not speaking as a whole. And, I take offense to that because we've been asking questions from the board. We are waiting feedback. And, I'm listening to this unfold here, and it's very disturbing. So I ask that whatever decisions are being made, it has to be made as a committee. I've said that over and over at my meetings. It has to be made as a committee. We can't have people from outside writing things outside of a committee input and, vote on those things. I mean, I don't get it.
You recommend we oppose this, Debbie?
Until we get the questions that the committee has sent to the board office requesting information about what transpired from when Link NYC started that proposal and what happened coming forward.
Okay,
I mean, I just took on that role as the EP chair. I need to know what transpired.
Okay, Madam Chair,
We
if I may.
need to know as a committee.
If I may ask, so this is currently, so at this time, do you wish to make a motion to refer the matter back to committee as it's already there?
Yes, absolutely.
Why do we have to make a motion? Why don't we
committee.
just vote it down?
Yes.
Why do
What
we
I'm
have to make a
saying is,
motion for it?
I can't speak on behalf of the
I
whole
second
committee,
your motion, Debbie.
but I think that there are people on the committee that can speak for themselves.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's been moved and seconded. I heard Debbie make a motion to refer to committee. I heard a second. Who was the second?
Augustine, I think.
That was me, Fred Blackwell.
Augustine Blackwell, seconds. All right, so the motion on the floor, the current motion on the floor is to refer back to committee. Discussion.
What committee?
It's currently, this matter is currently being discussed in environmental protection. So the motion is send it back to environmental protection, let them finish with it, and they'll come back with a recommendation.
Well, I'm just concerned because, I want to just do something temporary until these questions do get answered. That's what the moratorium is for, to stop until these questions get answered by the board, because these questions that Debbie listed out, these like, I think there's 10 questions here that we're waiting to hear from the board. We've been asking these questions for quite some months, and they're not being answered. And
just as a point of information for this, the questions we've responded, the board office has responded, so that information is currently there. We can work with.
Is that true, Debbie? Do you feel like they're all
Okay,
answered?
so Dante, something is wrong with that link. as I mentioned to Mia, I'm not
Yeah.
able to open that. I
Okay.
haven't received anything.
All right.
So, I mean, I don't know what's going on. My understanding is that you were working on it. So I'm waiting and hopefully we can get it before the next meeting, which is next week.
So I
Thank
think
you.
that would be the next step, but I think it's more appropriately to be handled there. That information, I think most of those questions are answered or contained in the documentation. The district office will work on getting that issue resolved so that we all have that. But I think that's the best place for you for this to get discussed. And I think that's the best place. And I think actually that probably beats the 45 days we're asking for in a moratorium. If you get it before that, you'll have an opportunity to review and have a recommendation by the next board meeting.
All right, so it sounds.
I would just offer as a point of conversation that I do see a value in a moratorium in that it at least responds to community concerns. A lot of community members have come, they've expressed their concern. We have had nothing to offer in response for quite some time now. And seeing as this has dragged on for months, I think this would be a show of responsiveness to public concern. That's all.
Right. No, I mean, your point is taken, and I think to that as well. I think it's not a matter of it's not been responded to. It's in the committee. The committee is discussing this. The committee has asked questions. The committee has requested documents. There is action being done, and I think that this is the opportunity for the committee. Now that we've finally been able to sift through over 2 years of emails and documents, the information that is required is there. And I think that, there's that ability to actually have something done definitive and have an actual resolution that really states the facts of the matter, which incorporate whatever documentation we have, plus the testimony we received and the commentary we have. All right, I'm sorry.
Fred, can you illuminate for me why it is that perhaps this is, what are we not able to discuss the answers to those questions publicly, or is it simply because it's too much information?
It's a committee meeting. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's probably appropriate to be done at the committee meeting. That's what they're there for. So for us to do it, 49 of us right now is probably doesn't make sense. Let the 8 or 9 people who are on the committee sift through that. They've already started that conversation. They can do that. And then we'll discuss it as a board in terms of the final determinations. There's going to be a lot of determinations of fact that it probably doesn't make sense for us to discuss here and debate. Because you say they cause cancer, I say they don't. We don't know. We don't have that information here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, I'm just trying to get out in front of information and provide it. We seem to be on the back foot constantly when the community comes and makes accusations around our activities. So just trying to, yeah.
Point taken. All right. All right. If you have a question, please use the raise hand function. We're going to take the last set of questions and then we're going to close and we're going to vote on
discussion now, Fred. We're in discussion.
I know, and what I'm saying is raise hands so we can create the speakers list, and we've exhausted the speakers list. We'll go on and vote. Okay, so now I see Suki, I see you. Fran, I do see your hand up, and Eve Chavi Cohen, I see your hand up as well. Is there anyone else who wishes to discuss the motion on the floor? Okay, seeing none, go ahead. Suki, you had a question.
So, along the lines of what Pat was saying before, have you considered not just sending this to OTI, but to the relevant elected officials? Because clearly that's part of how some of these other community boards got traction. The congressman from Nadler got involved for his constituents. I heard there were some other community boards in Manhattan where their local elected officials got involved and wrote letters in support of them. The other thing is I feel like one of the reasons we've been so slow to handle this issue is because, and I want to thank the EP committee for taking up this responsibility, is because it wasn't clear which committee was supposed to handle it. This Link NYC, which the city does have authority over, by the way, was a franchise. It's a city granted franchise. And so initially, my thought was maybe this goes for the ULURP committee, but now then the city council started handling it out of transportation because it was an issue of where on the sidewalk these get cited. And it's only now that people are starting to talk about the health issues or the environmental issues. And so now we're looking at asking these two committees to talk about it. And so I actually don't mind at times talking about some of these issues that cross a lot of committees in our general meetings, just so everybody is aware of it. But I agree that the committee is the right place to write resolutions.
Okay, thank you.
But if we can just have space sometimes to talk about these issues, because, you know, like a lot of the things that we deal with in land use are the same way. There's a lot of different issues.
No, understood, understood. It's the balancing act we have to strike as a board in terms of what gets discussed here and what's better discussed in you know, what's the most efficient use of the time. Fran, I saw your hand up before. Did you want to have a comment?
Not on this, so bypassing for now.
Okay. All right. Ms. Cohen, is it Ms. Chavi Cohen or Ms. Cohen? Oh, I'm sorry, you're on mute. Hold on 1 second. Can we unmute you?
Evie, we can't see, we can't hear you.
Hello?
We got you.
Okay, got me? It doesn't matter. You can call me whatever you want to call me. Just don't call me late for supper. Isn't that how this expression goes? I just wanted, I'm new here, so I don't want to pretend that I know everything that's going on over here, but it seems like the committee is working super, super hard on this. I just, since I'm new, I can also understand the people that are outside of the board. And sometimes people just need to know that they have to hear something that comforts them a little, that the board is working on something. And this doesn't take away from the fact that this board, that this committee is working, and Debbie and her committee is working so hard on this, and they've given tons of hours on this, countless, I'm sure, countless. I can only imagine how long you've given on this. But if we can just have like go back and tell the community that, okay, we're giving a short time to, that to make them stop. Because while this committee and Debbie and the committee is working so hard to get answers, it seems like they're doing stuff, they're moving forward while they're not answering what they're supposed to be answering. They're moving forward and they're doing stuff. And this is what the community is seeing. So I kind of like understand where Teresa's coming from. Is that your name, Teresa? Teresa?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
I kind of understand where she's coming from, just to calm the committee, and also Primo, kind of the same, I think it was Primo or Dante, who's kind of saying the same concept of the community just has to know that we're listening to them. They don't know that Debbie and her committee has been giving hours and hours and hours and hours of taking care of this and working on this. They don't know that. They don't know the inside things. They only know that they're not hearing anything. And if they hear something from us, they hear this concern and they hear, yes, we heard you. We heard what you said and we're listening to you. And I think it will bring a certain calmness to them and more rationality, that then they'll be open to us to be able to saying, listen, the committee's been working a long time on this. We're constantly on this, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll be open to being a little bit more rational and calm about the entire situation. And this is just my opinion.
No, but thank you for expecting. But this is what we do. We discuss these things. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Eve. Agree.
Okay, Ms. Moses, well, hold on, Ms. Moses, you spoke before, right?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. And
Give me 1 second, only because from process,
Yeah.
usually we have to
Yeah,
let everybody speak first.
okay,
Before you
let
come
everybody,
back
I
for a
just
second.
want to say one thing. You could let everybody go, but I don't think it's anybody else but me.
We do have one other, Mr. Norville, you didn't want to speak?
Actually,
Okay,
yeah.
hand back up. Yeah, there we go.
Actually,
He already spoke. We
On
know
this
he's a
mo-
tech person.
Okay, we'll take Ms. Moses and Mr. Norville will take you right there. Go ahead.
Okay, all I wanted to say is that as a chairperson, I would not want to bypass that committee. And what I'm saying, when you have an outside group and you have another group, I think if they want to have a long discussion, they need to go in front of the chair of that committee and then bring forth the resolution, unless that chair wasn't doing what they wanted them to do. I just think I don't like what I'm hearing, where, well, it's like a group over here with Teresa and a group over here with the chair. I think that they need to come back to the committee, like y'all refer back to me, and make a decision on what you want to do. And that's all I'm saying. It's important that they do that. That way they can enter into long discussions like we're doing tonight, which we shouldn't be doing. And we should not have another person coming up against the committee. And the person is on the committee. That's all I'm saying. And I'm done.
Okay. Mr. Norval, and I have one comment and then we're going to close. Go ahead.
I wanted to reiterate what Ms. Cohen had said. I think that some of the people giving feedback are not quite noticing the efforts the board's making to address the issues. And that's probably why they become a bit more forceful after repeated efforts. But I think another way we can help is also let them know why what's happening has been happening. For example, 5G is kind of known in many circles to not be a form of ionizing radiation, which is the more harmful type. It tends to not be one of those. So often it's a non-starter to assume that it is harmful, which is why we get a delayed response when voicing health concerns about it. And things like that will essentially explain the reasons why the results have been so slow. And I think just getting out more of these ideas and more of these factual bases to people who are concerned would probably help, quell some of the responses we've been seeing.
Yeah, well, thank you for that.
Mr. Chair, can you clarify with Debbie whether her position changed, whether she's okay with the motion, whether she's, after the arguments, Debbie, do you still prefer this goes back to the committee, or do you feel that's okay if we vote just because for community concern for the time being that it should be whatever the motion was? We can't hear you.
You're on mute.
We do have a meeting next week coming up.
Yeah, and I just
again, I cannot speak for the entire committee, and we do have a committee. That's my take on that.
I just want to apologize if anybody thinks I'm trying to go against my own committee. I'm not actually trying to do that at all. I really want to give my committee more of a chance to work on it and come up with a resolution or whatever we do. I just want to put a hold on things so the people in our community feel like we're caring for them, and put a hold while we go through everything. That's really what I'm looking for, is just to put a hold on the towers so people feel safe and calm while we go over the facts and make a decision. That's what I'm looking to do, honestly, not go against anybody. So I apologize if it came off as that way.
I had a comment. You know what, I'm going to leave that at this time. We're going to call the question right now. So the motion on the floor is to refer to committee. A vote yes is to we'll refer it back to the committee, which will meet on this next week. A vote no will bring us back to the original motion to vote on a moratorium. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Right?
I'm sorry?
What did you? I was listening, but I was.
Yes,
I didn't hear you.
a yes vote does what?
A yes vote is to refer it back to the committee, who will discuss it next week. A no vote goes back to the vote for a moratorium, the motion for a moratorium.
Okay.
So a no vote means two votes.
We'll have to vote again about the next motion.
Correct. A yes vote means it goes back to the committee and they'll consider it next week and come back with a recommendation.
Okay. Can we have the motion expressed one more time?
The motion on the floor currently is to refer.
One quick question first.
No more questions. We went to vote.
Can we do both? Can't we just have the 45 days and put it back to the EP at the same time? Can we do both?
No, we can't.
Can
If that
we
fails,
stop making up the way
it goes
this
to the
works?
moratorium for 45 days. Okay.
All right. Sorry.
So Are we clear on this? Motion, refer, goes back to committees, discussed next week. Motion
All right,
fails,
wait a
we
minute.
vote no,
Wait a
it goes back to the original motion about a 45-day moratorium. Madam Secretary, please call the roll. When you're
Wait a
ready.
minute, I have a question. Hold on.
Yes. Yes,
I just want to say it's totally unfair for that issue to be dumped on a committee and we have to discuss it in a month. And now, you know, all of this craziness is going on. So I just want people to know the length of time we've heard about this topic came to that my committee. Okay, so when you're voting, please keep that in mind.
What, can you clarify, Debbie? I'm not, would you like to
Listen,
go?
we
Can we
need to
move
move
on?
on.
It's getting late. We have
We-
voted.
we-
Can
we've
you call
closed-
call the
we've
roll?
closed debate.
Crazy.
We've closed debate. We're moving on with the vote. Madam Secretary, please call. the roll.
Okay. Maria Acosta or
Present, my vote is yes.
Irene Annie, Nicholas Almanar,
Yes.
Fred Baptiste,
Yes,
Janelle Brazil Charles. Janelle? Rabbi Yaakov Berman,
Abstain.
pardon me?
Abstain.
Thank you. Warren Burke, Alita Bess,
Yes.
thank you. Augustine Blackwell,
Yes.
Celeste Chase. Celeste Chase,
Yes, I'm sorry to ask, is yes for a moratorium?
yes is
No,
to,
yes.
yes is to refer to committee.
Well, I actually want to refer to the committee and vote yes for a moratorium, so I'm not
Can
sure
only
what
vote.
to do here.
We can only vote on the first one.
Okay, so
The other,
I'll vote. If I vote yes to refer to the committee, then we're gonna have another vote on the moratorium as well.
Nope, it goes right back to the committee. It's on their agenda for next week.
I think we're gonna end up where we are right now, so I vote then no.
Suki Chow,
Yes.
Max Cohen,
Come back to me, please.
you. If Chavi Cohen. Eve Chavi Cohen. You're muted.
If you're on your computer, try the space bar. That might let you go. It might do it for you.
She's on the phone, I believe.
No, she's trying to unmute.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I'm unmuted now. I honestly, I'm very torn what to do over here. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna abstain. I don't know.
Okay. Jamie Epstein,
Yes.
Candace Edwards,
Yes.
Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez,
Yes.
Yusef Herscott,
No. No,
thank you, thank you, thank you. Renisha Laboure. Renisha Laboure. Primo Lozana,
I'm voting yes with the expectation that the committee brings us something for the next meeting.
Minor Legote. Minor Legote,
She's saying yes, but she's muted.
Yes, thank you.
thank you. Israel Leher,
No,
pardon me?
no.
Thank you. Francisco Leopold,
Yes.
Courtney Lozelle.
Yes.
Letwin Maneva. Sorry. Letwin Mavana.
Latween Mavima, I abstain.
Abstain. I am sorry. Erin Mazursky. Lati Mushin. Lati.
Yes.
How do you call your last name?
Muchkin.
Okay, thank you. Pat Moses.
I'll call you right back. I'm in a meeting.
I'm sorry. Whoa.
Pat
Okay.
Moses.
Yes.
Thank you. Beverly Newsom.
Yes.
Ethan Norville.
Yes.
Yankee Pearson out there. Mr. Pruitt. Milford. Unella Ron Perry.
Yes.
Dexter Roberts.
No.
Felice Robertson.
As a person that held the seat as a chairperson, I
Felice
understand.
Robertson.
Can you hear what I'm saying? Can you hear me?
Oh, that's you
Hello?
speaking? Oh, sorry.
Yes, I said as a person that held the seat as a chairperson, I understand the role and the position as one. I feel that this is going to go back to the Economic Committee, but yet come back. So we're going to have a moratorium nevertheless. So I'm going to have to say no to this one.
Nguyen Sap. Okay. Omari Scott.
Yes.
Debbie Timothy.
Yes.
Tyler Weir. Twyla Weir.
Yes.
Linda Watson Lord, yes. Teresa Westerdahl. Teresa Westerdahl.
No.
John Wolfley.
Yes.
Okay. Sit here 1 minute. I'll give you the vote.
While the secretary is tallying, is there any member who did not hear their name called or did not cast a vote? Please let us know right now.
I asked to come back to me after.
Yes, Mr. Cohen, what is your vote?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to vote yes.
Matt's going, right?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so
sorry.
much.
Sorry about that, Matt. One.
Are there any other members who did not cast a vote or did not hear their name called? Okay, seeing none. All right.
We get the no's first. Three, 4, 6, 7. Okay, abstains 1, 2, 3. Mr. Chair, total vote 24 yeses, 7 noes, 3 abstain. Everybody else is absent.
Okay, I hear 24 yes, 7 no's you said?
Yes, sir. Three
And 3
abstain.
abstentions.
Mhm.
The motion carries. The matter is referred back to the committee, who will be addressing it at their committee meeting next week. All right, I thank the board for that. And I do want to give this assurance to the committee as well. If there is assistance that is required or information, absolutely, I'll work with the district manager to make sure we're able to get that to you so everyone has that in advance. Also, I don't need you to feel, I don't want you to feel pressure to have this entire thing solved in the next 72 hours. Those portions that you have, if you're ready to commit to those portions, that's fine. If there are things that need additional questions, that's okay too. That's part of the process. And as such, we'll make sure we're able to communicate that out and let people know that there's movement, and we'll let the board know what we know. And if there's additional questions or things that we have doubts about, we'll figure out how to get answers to those as well. And as generally the principle I want to say for everyone is, that's the general principle we want all the committees to work on. We're not always going to get it 100% right. We may not answer every question, but let's just do the best we can and we see where we go from there and what the next steps are. It'll be an iterative process. But I think when we commit ourselves to the conversation, get there. Okay. Is there any other new business for the board at this time? Okay, hearing none. I just want to thank everyone. Oh, wow. You guys hung
Mr.
out.
Chair, I don't know if you did call old business, but I have one thing that I did ask about, and it's getting worse in the community. The bike racks going all over, and then I'm not hearing anything from the board, and we are just losing parking upon parking upon parking spots in the community. We already don't have parking, and it's just everywhere you go on the road, just everywhere you go, we have racks going up, and there was nothing, no consent and nothing from for the community as to if we want all those racks. I've not said that we shouldn't, but it's just taking over, and soon from now, we will have to start selling our cars. I can't ride no bike, so I did my car. And then it is something that we have to address because it's plaguing the community.
And I will just say this very quickly with respect to that. That is a topic that we're actually covering in the Transportation Committee. Between the proliferation of the bike racks, I'll say that this, at least I can say this, one of the issues, the challenges we have with the bike racks is similar to what we're having with the kiosks, with the 5G poles, in terms of they're utilizing the franchise mechanism, in terms of they're using that, in terms of doing that. But that's a larger conversation that we're having as well, because that is a concern in terms of a lot of the streetscape. And this is not to say pro or con towards them, but you see it's changing very drastically. And, there are concerns about, in terms of when we're doing this, how much are we giving up, and are we giving up too much in a lot of respects? But that is something that is definitely there, and we're discussing in the Transportation Committee. And I would invite all board members and residents to come in and talk about it there as well. I thought I heard a question very quickly.
Yeah, it's Yanela. The issue is that there was no information as Ms. Leopold said to the committee. You just got up the next morning and they took over all these parking spaces, and over where we are, we have the hospitals, we have everybody, we have the residents as well. Can't find any parking.
No, it's definitely an issue. And I'll say this one last point. One of the challenges that we face, and we'll see this oftentimes, is that a lot of the times when they decide to bring issues to the board, and it happens way too often, is they send you a notice in the summer talking about, oh, by the way, we're doing this. And we're on hiatus during the summer, so it's impossible for the board to address that as such. And then a lot of things go on and go forward. Or you will have that they will say things like, and I'll say this very quickly, an incident that did happen to the board is they said, okay, in October, we're going to have a hearing in November. So let us know what your board says on that. There is no way we can turn around those kinds of issues in a month. No way. The notice by itself precludes us being able to say we're going to do the community outreach and get the kind of feedback we want to get and come up with a position on the end of that. So that's one of the battles that we're fighting as a board, in terms of there needs to be, frankly, more respect in terms of, if you're going to have a conversation, let's have a conversation. Let's scope this out. Let's communicate. You're going to come to our committees. You're going to come to our hearings and get the, get the input from the district. And then we'll figure out what the policies are going forward. So I guess this is a very early conversation that we're having for the new board members, in terms of, yeah, we need to talk about how other agencies relate with us, how the city deals with us as well, and how we exert our power and influence that what we actually do have in terms of making sure that we are recognized and heard in terms of all these things that they're doing. Okay. And I want to end it on that note. I want to say that, you will hear things as like, okay, we're advisory, but what does the board do? There is a power that we are still tapping and we are getting into. And I think that there are a few proud moments, and hopefully at some point in the near future, we'll be able to discuss some of the things we've done as a board and talk about ways we can be even more effective and impactful. So I just say I'm very happy to work with this group, and I'm looking forward to a very positive and impactful year coming forward. Sorry, what was that?
Fred?
Yes.
Sorry, just one particular. We had a fire at the gas station next door to Kingsbrook Jewish last night. Somebody or something, the pumps caught on fire. So that's something I reached out to. I think I sent an email out earlier, but it's concerning because there was a lot of issues here last night. On this end, as I say to Dante all the while, we have a lot of issues, but last night was really a big to-do.
And I really hope nobody was hurt. I'm hoping.
I haven't heard anything as of yet. Reach out to my NCO, and I'm waiting to hear.
Please, yes, just keep us in the loop in terms of whatever we need to do about that as well. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that with the board. Suki, I see your hand up. Did you have a last comment?
I just want to quickly alert you all that we are discussing parking issues at the Land Use Committee and also at the City of Yes zoning subcommittee meetings. There are a lot of zoning rules around parking, and they're proposing to being changed, and the change is in the direction of less parking. So if you're concerned about this, you should come to these meetings. If you can't come to the meeting, watch the video, read the minutes. I'm telling you now so that you didn't say that you didn't hear, and these changes are likely to be voted on in the next couple of months. So if we want to have a say, now is the time. And it's a ton of work. It's really a lot of work to try and keep up with what these agencies are putting out before they say that they're going to vote on it. And they don't give us the respect of putting it before us with enough advance notice. I mean, I just watched a video with someone from city planning saying, oh yes, we told the community early, and I had 100 meetings with this community group called the Urban Green Council. I looked them up. They're a lobbying group. The board of the Urban Green Council is Brookfield Partners, it's Turner Construction, it's 30 GBJ, it's the building industry. That's not the community. I'm not saying they're a bad group of people or that they shouldn't be discussing it, but that's not the community. We, the community boards, we got a month before to discuss these when they finally gave us the detailed proposals. And now we have 60 days to discuss them. So, if these are issues that you care about, please, if you care about 30-foot 5G towers going up, you should be caring about what's going up on your rooftops too, in terms of batteries, solar panels, HVAC equipment and so on. These are also changes that are being discussed. So please, take a look at the zoning issues, take a look at the land use issues. They do affect us in a lot of ways. And I want to tell you all now before these changes go through.
What committee is this?
This is land use. The meeting is May 9th. And my subcommittee, which is City of Yes, that's discussing the zoning changes that are being proposed now. Our meeting is May 2nd. And the district office has the information.
But tell them what time. It's like 7 o'clock, right?
Yes. May 2nd, 7 o'clock, May 9th, 7 o'clock. Pat Moses is my chair for ULURP.
Okay. All right. And everyone, if you haven't done so already, the last PSA, and we're going to close after this really. Make sure you have signed up, or I think the district office will do it automatically. Every Friday, we'll send out an e-blast, which will tell you a lot of the information that you're hearing this evening, as well as a lot of the other information that's going on in the district. So please, you guys, we ask you to serve as ambassadors as well in terms of please forward these things to your networks. So that way we can make sure we're spreading the word and all our neighbors know what's going on. Right. And with that, I thank everyone for your time and your attention and your commitment, and we're gonna have a great year. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Second.
adjourn. Do I have a
Police,
second?
police Robinson.
Nice to meet you.
Mayor moved and seconded. All,
Sleep well.
yeah, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I heard everyone. There we go. We stand adjourned. The time is now 10:40. Everyone, take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone.